urban and the rural areas? What is the skill gap that you see, and what is needed, what needs to be done? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me for speaking on this very important topic of skilled workforce and sustainable water management. At the outset, I would like to ask if I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Because I'm hearing some kind of echo.
Yes, ma'am. My technical team will adjust it.
Is it okay now?
Yes,
okay.
Ma'am. It's loud and clear. Yeah.
Okay. So, good evening, everybody. I am so pleased to be here because, as you all know, Assam is my cadre, and Kalyan Chakravarti is a very, very special friend. So, it's business with pleasure for me because it was a request from Kalyan, and I cannot refuse Kalyan ever. So, I would like to begin my talk by giving you some very startling facts about water. You see, the 2016th edition of the UN World Water Development Report on water and jobs mentions that 3 out of 4 jobs that make up the global workforce are either heavily or moderately dependent on water. This was really a startling fact for me. And water is the driving force for growth and development. Honorable PM in the recently concluded First All India State Ministers at Bhopal Conference has observed that Water Vision 2047 is an important dimension for the next 25 years of the Amrit Kal to the country's development. You know, friends, it is estimated that total utilizable water that we have is only 1126 billion cubic meter. And our demand for water, looking at agricultural growth, food demand, rapid urbanization, industrialization, coupled with the adverse effects of climate change and spatial and temporal variations, will be to the tune of 1150 billion cubic meter. So even if we store all the utilizable water, if we don't improve water management, that is the demand side, we are looking at a very bleak future, water secure future for India. And friends, it is estimated that lack of efficient skilled labor in water and sanitation contributes to estimated leakage of 30% of total withdrawal of fresh water, and that is not a mean amount. And there is also, as I've already said, an increased pressure on the existing water resources to meet the agriculture, land, and domestic demands. And so it is very important, friends, that we work on improving the water resource management, as water plays a very, very important role in the creation of jobs. Generally, you will not associate water with job creation. But my whole talk will, I hope in a way, convince you that not only 3 out of 4 jobs are dependent on water. Around 1.5 billion people have been employed in the water and nature resource dependent industries. And it is very clear that shortage of water is sure to create unemployment in the coming future. Now we come to India, the statistics show that northern India suffers from water crisis due to lack of capital and resources, whereas southern India suffers from water crisis due to its hard rock terrain and due to low percolation rate and lack of storage structures. So, you know, in India, we cannot have a one-size-fits-all policy. And if you look at the north-south divide, there are capacity issues in northern India and physical hydrological issues and terrain issues in South India. And therefore, skilling of workforce is very, very essential And as you all know, that water is a product of nature. We cannot think of nature in silos. So even in skills, we require a more cross-disciplinary integration and technical knowledge, and at different levels. The skilled workforce is crucial for sustainable water management. It requires both technical and soft skills. Not, when you think of water, you only think of pump operators and you think of masons and builders, but also managers. We need both technical and soft skills. And technical skills, why are they required? They are required for water treatment, distribution, wastewater management, conservation, and hydrology. And soft skills are required, like, in any other sector, for communication, stakeholder engagement. Most important, leadership management is very, very crucial in water too. And building a skilled workforce cannot happen in a day. It needs education, it needs training, it needs development initiatives, but most of all, it also needs partnership, because government alone cannot create a skilled workforce for the whole of India. And so we need to invest in education, we need to invest in innovation, but most of all, we need to invest in collaboration. And so I'm very glad that I have got this opportunity to speak on water and jobs and water and skill force in a very collaborative manner, thanks to my friend. Now, there are several programs for water supply management in the Ministry of Jal Shakti, and the goal is to have water secure villages. And also, the first one is Jal Jeevan Mission, which you all must have heard about, which with the objective of delivering good quality water supply to villages. Then we have the Atal Bhujal Yojana, which many of you may not have heard, because it is not in all the districts. It is for groundwater management. And of course, what I had, the National Water Mission with its Jal Shakti Abhiyan, which is basically for water conservation and management, and the water and sanitation, which Honorable PM has already talked about, the Swachh Bharat Mission. So these are the several programs which look at creating a water secure future. Now we are also transitioning to the green market and increasingly investing in alternative technologies. And so that is why skilling is also required for these new technologies of recycling wastewater, grey water, and rainwater harvesting measures. So, as I've already said, water cannot be dealt in silos. If we talk about technical and scientific experts, the list is very, very long, but I will, because it is also about educating the students present here about what are the sectors which you can go to. The technical side includes water auditors, social water experts, geologists, hydrogeologists, hydrologists, chemists for quality management related to water, hydrometeorologists, economists, civil engineers, remote sensing and GIS expert, geophysicists, agriculturists, and environmentalists. And these are basically to ensure that there's good governance and practices of water management at various levels should ensure water conservation, optimized usage, recycling, and reuse of water. And these, as I've already said, that they require competencies and skills to be created at all levels, not just, at the level of technicians or technical experts. But since water is such a community thing, we also need sensitization and capacity building at the Panchayat Raj institution level, urban local bodies level, at the water users association levels, at the self-help groups level, at the Pani Panchayats, and other stakeholders to the equitable and sustainable management of water resources. And since time immemorial, we have been managing water. It's not that, our ancestors didn't know how to manage water. In fact, we have launched a portal called the Jal Itihas portal, in which during the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we are showcasing 75 traditional water heritage structures, and one is from Sivsagar also, which has such beautiful traditional water heritage structures. So, they knew how to restore pond, maintain bore wells, build check dams, build tanks, and these have existed since time immemorial. And it has proven that, we can effectively inhibit the water crisis with minimal capital and no ecological side effects. Somebody is talking, so I would request that lady to please keep quiet, because it's really disturbing me in my thought.
It all of
There's some lady's voice which is coming as a whisper.
Please don't talk. Please be silent.
Okay, so going on, I think community participation can also effectively induce a state of common ownership. Remember when we were kids, I'm from Bihar, when I was a kid, my mom used to say that, अरे बिजली और पानी के लिए पैसे देने का क्या जरूरत है? So we used to, all houses used to have fixed meters, water was free. We used to have these deep tube wells in the house, and whenever, the water table went down, the bore well went down too. So always, water has been treated as a private property, which is not so in many of the, hill states of the Northeast, and in many places like abroad also. In Israel, which has very, very scarce water resource availability, water is common. In fact, in Israel, they have an authority where they have, made water completely come under the. You cannot own water. So this thinking that, groundwater is for the community and not only for yourself, and that we have to think of water when it comes as a gift of nature to our households, as also an economic good of economic value to be respected, so that we don't, waste it. Because as I've said in the earlier deliberation in my first opening statement, that if we don't respect water and if we don't use water efficiently, mind you, by 1150, we are staring at a very bleak future. And that is why community ownership of water is what the Jal Shakti Ministry, the National Water Policy is advocating, that there should be a sense of belonging and a state of common ownership, that groundwater is not your, your feudal, what should I say, your property. So that is why there's an urgent need to upscale, because you see there's been a criticism that the current government programs like the State Rural Livelihood Mission, the MG Narega, they do have provisions for construction, operation and maintenance of waterworks and providing funds for that. But they say that it is just temporary, it is part-time, which is leading to a lot of structures being created, but which are not well maintained. So some of the tasks and responsibilities of trained workers at the community level, which I think we need to have a framework, and we are going to work on a framework, is defining the roles, responsibilities, and even the remuneration, state-wise or even local-wise, for these community level of skills that we require. First, I said, you need to dig well. So mason or plumber for laying the pipeline. We need a pump operator. Then we have many examples. We have Bhujal Jankars as hydrologists. Then we have Jal Sahelis, in Bundelkhand. They are engaged in reviving dry water bodies and they are responsible for desilting ponds. They are Dhara Sevaks for spring shed management, and then there are Pani Panchayats, which is a voluntary group of farmers engaged in collective management of surface and groundwater, and it is a beautifully working in Orissa. And then we have the Swachh Grahis and Ashas who are engaged in, testing water quality. Then, as I've already said, Manrega and SRLM provides for construction, operation, and maintenance of waterworks. And then Central Groundwater Authority provides for water auditors. On that, I will talk in detail later. But we don't have a curriculum and certification requirement which can be of use for all of India as yet. And we are working on that. And Jal Suraksha, in fact, Maharashtra is the only state, which has dared to constitute a state water resource authority, and it has integrated all the departments under one authority. And even if you need to dig a road for laying a water pipeline, you have to go to the authority. So, and it has laid principles for water monitoring, for water metering, water pricing, water tariff. So, similarly, they are the only state which have formed these Jal Surakshaks. They are trained and certified to monitor groundwater salination, handle water measuring instruments, and digitally share information with the Groundwater State and Development Authority. Then there are only 3 places where water managers, where role responsibility of water managers at the community level is defined. That is in Maharashtra. They are called Havaldar, Jalyaps and Palkaris. In Kamau, they are called Chaukidar, and in Garhwal, they are called Kalalus. So, these were some of the skills which are required at the community level. Now, as I've already said, that, we need a more efficient management, and agronomics is there, industrial practices are there. So we not only need these community skills, but we also require special skill sets. And that requires leveraging technology, and it requires familiarity with the new age technologies. So in water resource management also, we see that currently the water domain experts are lacking in many of the essential technologies and attributes which are very much needed, like the Internet of Things, data analytics, augmented reality and virtual reality, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and robotics. So, we have to identify roles also for the modern resource management, and we have to do a gap analysis and plan for ensuring that, the skills are not only upgraded and upskilled, but we get new skills into the water domain, which is still considered a very, traditional CPW type of contractor-driven kind of department, where you have contractors and they are the ones who bring in the technology and they do the work, and they bring in the skills. So mostly water resource departments and irrigation department, I'm sorry to say, but in most states are very, very, contractor managed, where our essential engineers are within the system. Their skill sets are not being as upskilled as because it's basically outsourced. So that is something which we have to bring in. We have to get the students, all of you, to come in the water sector and provide and remain in government as government servants and provide these new technologies that we need if we want to, go in for efficient use of water. Like in Karnataka, we have the SCADA initiatives. They have implemented it, and it's a beautiful scheme which has resulted in effective conservation of water, minimizing wastage, and ensuring its more equitable distribution. So you know what they do? The project has so many benefits because it automatically controls the canal network in absence of operators. And there's judicious water distribution, there's reduction in water loss, there's increased crop productivity, and they also do water auditing and accounting and online water demands, water billing and revenue generation. So we need more SCADA-like technologies in our irrigation projects and in all our canal projects. And to do that, we need skilled workforce to operate these systems. So tasks which require modern skills, if I look at the technical skills, then it would be, planning, prioritizing, and knowledge of pumping, storage, transmission, purification, treatment of recycled water, then operation and maintenance of city water systems, then procedures for, various operating work groups, then preparation of budget and training programs also we would require. And if we look at managerial skills, we would also require people who can work with other divisions and who can ensure timely and effective coordination, provide the leadership skills, and manage, infrastructure master plans. But there's one skill which I just which I request you, which will grow very big. So I would request that all of you start looking at it very, very. So just like chartered accountants, water auditors is the future. And the role of water auditors is going to grow very big. Water auditors, water auditing is basically a method of quantifying water flows and quality in simple or complex system with a view to reducing water usage and often saving money. So water auditing and water conservation is aimed at undergraduate and graduate students in environmental engineering and science programs. And we sadly don't have a water auditor institute in India. But we have a water skill institute in the government. Like we have the National Water Academy in Pune, we have the National Institute of Hydrology in Roorkee, we have Nerivalam in Tezpur, we have the Valmi, Dharwad is good. Then we have the Center for Water Resource Management in Kerala. We have the Center Water and Power Research Department for Dams in Pune. Then we have Central Groundwater Research Training Institute in Raipur. And we have Center for Salinity Research also for coastal waters. Now we have all this, but we don't have a framework for skilling or developing capacities. And to that end, I'm very happy to announce that we have constituted a Bureau of Water Use Efficiency under the National Water Mission. And it has been constituted on the 20th of October. And it will promote, regulate, and control the efficient use of water through nudge initially, because water is also a very, very, as we all know, a very, very politically sensitive subject. So we will be nudging people, we will be introducing a new lingo in water, we will be developing frameworks for, water footprints. And you must have heard about water footprints, that 1 cup of coffee requires huge amount of liters of water to be produced. Then your jeans require so much water. So sustainable clothing plus blue labeling, like in Bureau of Energy Efficiency, you have these star labelings that LED bulbs are more efficient and they use less electricity. Similarly, we are thinking of, providing frameworks for fixtures which are more water efficient and promotion of those fixtures for people to buy. So Bureau of Water Use Efficiency is going to set the framework, and believe you me, if not today, maybe after 10 years, it will develop a whole host of frameworks in which we will require many, many technical skills. The first being water auditors. Abhi, we only audit the industries. And these are just environmental auditors who also, audit the water. Because CPCB and the state pollution control boards have these requirements. But this Bureau of Water Use Efficiency is, mind you, going to grow big, and therefore we invite all the students here to please think of water as a future for you and a job in water, because it will not only give you, professional satisfaction, but it will also be a contribution in saving the planet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now I hand over it to our program chair, Dr. B. Kalyan Chakravarti.
Thank you very much.
Kalyan, don't drag me too much. Kalyan, I cannot hear you. Please be a little loud.
I will speak a little bit in Assamese also, because the kids also would probably understand bilingual a bit better. अर्चना मैडम जी अपने होकल किसवे हुनी से किसवे भाल के हुना नाई बुधोय. What she's saying is that 3 out of 4 jobs बहुत किनी जिटू मने in 5 years 10 years ITI pura jikhini mane job bilak ahibo ITI pura mane all for students etu water sector at hobo in water management, right from water conservation or pura water utility, water management, water auditing. She is talking about mane amar jeneko mane on packets you have kiman calories ase kiman kini mane ya kiman calories ami kori asu kiman water use hoise tenekwa mane future hobo, because water is going to be the most critical commodity in the future. So we will have to design. In fact, I would like to request you 2 things. One is, of course, we have a water management, and actually it is also called plumbing skill unit, and it's rather narrow in terms of the skills that it has actually designed, because the sectors that you mentioned are so vast in the sense it is not really included in the sector skill council, and therefore first is one engagement perhaps with the water sector skill in order to broaden the scope of the skills that are required in terms of the jobs that you mentioned, because the jobs you mentioned are varied, right from from Jal Mitras to conservation to auditing to environment to equity to various kinds of jobs, and perhaps some of the jobs are paid by the private sector and some will probably be requiring government support. But whatever it is, first is to make the inventory of these skills, and secondly is to provide the kind of certification that is required so that the boys and girls can pick up those skills and therefore be eligible for the jobs that you're talking about. So engagement with the water skill council and the skill ministry, water skill council, ensuring that the jobs in the inventory that you mentioned have certain skills which are well defined, so that then the boys and girls can actually get the jobs that you have said. So that is my one request to you. Sabok moi to kobo bisarisu ki apna hokol jetia job bisaribo, future ot bisaribo, to pani logo jurat taka jobs to lole apna hokol job safe hobo. Anything related to water is the future of all jobs. That is what I'm saying. That's what I wanted to tell her. I thank you. Would you like to say anything? One last word from you for the children.
Yes, respect water. We believe in the 5 Rs: reuse, reduce, recycle, recharge, and respect water. That is the way to go. And also, since Women's Day is coming, जल शक्ति से नारी शक्ति बहुत आती है. Water empowers women.
Women power is women power. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Achan Kalyan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
মই অসমীয়াত কব পাৰিলো হেতেন, কিন্তু কল্যাণ মোক কোৱা নাই কি অসমীয়াত কব লাগে.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was a senior bureaucrat, Archana Verma, Secretary and Additional Secretary and Commissioner for National Water Mission, Government of India. A huge round of applause for joining us all the way and taking time for IndiGlobal Bharat Summit. Now, moving on, we have a very important session that I would like to call upon the speakers on the stage. And to do the honors, it's a very specific panel that is much needed for discussion. And the speakers are someone who know the ground reality, and they have the experience and that needs to be sorted. And the name of this session is Break the Bias, a panel discussion on the skills and attitudes for employability of students and youth of Northeast India. The points that we'll be touching upon is skilling and retaining youth in jobs, challenges in attracting youth to science and technology space, generating employment opportunities, challenges, and way forward. I will request the colleagues to invite our esteemed speakers and do the honors for this particular session. Please, Sunita Bhuyan, a noted violinist, world renowned. A round of applause for Ms. Sunita Bhuyan for
Thank you, Sudhir and team. A very good afternoon to all of you. It's wonderful to see a full house. And first of all, a round of applause to IndiGlobal, ASDM, Government of Assam for organizing this mega event around skills and employability. So, sabko taaliya bajana hai for the effort that has gone in to create so many different kinds of panels, different industry discussions, the entire 9 yards of what it takes to be able to get employability and skill development in the Northeast and all of India. So thank you, Kalyanji and the entire team. Today's panel that we have is not from the industry side. It's not about the kind of industries that we are looking at for recruiting. We're talking from the students' point of view. Students, all of you understand English, right? Fantastic. So it's from the point of view that what are the special skills, unique skills, and of course the standard skills that a student, youth, executive, young executive from this region in Northeast India needs to imbibe, develop, learn, and get trained on to be able to have a sustainable job, employment, and career. Not to just get a job and be there for 6 months, but to remain in a career for a long period of time. So that's the essence of this panel today. And I'd first like to ask, you have heard about the illustrious panel that we have, people who are really specialists in their field. We'll first start with Nishit Upadhyay. Nishit Upadhyay is from SHRM. The full form of SHRM, ladies and gentlemen, is Society for Human Resource Management. They are an international, worldwide veteran organization across more than 50 years, and they have been dealing with skills, training of executives at different levels over the years. Nishit has come all the way from Delhi. I know you have a hard stop and a flight. So Nishit, tell us, what are the specific needs that you see from students, because you are from Assam, staying in Delhi, that you see in students and youth that you train, executives that you train, and what are the big industries that you all think can take in people from the Northeast?
Thank you, first of all, IIT Guwahati and Sunita for inviting Sherm to be a part of this panel. It's an absolute privilege and an honor to be speaking to this fantabulous crowd of students in my hometown. I'm from a school which is right across the river, KV Khanapara. Grew up here. I did my master's from Delhi School of Economics. I have been working as an HR consultant for about 18 odd years. Now, if I look at the landscape of skills and jobs across in India, it has absolutely dramatically changed, right? From actually looking at finding employment, which used to be the trend, or landing that government job, or that high-paying job in an FMCG company, to the present scenario where it's actually starting up something and being able to give jobs to others is what really drives the employment creation in the country today. And that's a real fundamental and tectonic shift, right? So what are some of the skills that one needs to pick up as a student? And to some of you who might actually be listening in, first and foremost, please understand that it's for you to be successful in business, in any business, you have to have an interest in economics. You have to have an interest in how the markets work, right? And you have to start developing a real interest in understanding business, right? So hence, developing some critical habits, for example, reading the financial newspapers every day. How many of you actually do that? Maybe, reading the Mint for its depth of coverage, or even Economic Times. Because if you start doing that as a habit, what will happen over a period of time is you will start developing some core interest of going beyond the headlines, and then you will be able to identify what are some of the critical problems to solve. I was hearing the commissioner speak in the morning today, where she actually identified that it's important for students to identify critical problems and start solving them, and not run after jobs. And in solving these day-to-day problems, you will go ahead and create the next Flipkarts and Amazons, starting right out of Guwahati, right? So start developing an interest in business, understand the stories behind the headlines, start using your analytical and critical thinking abilities to just go beyond, what's written out there. We come from Assam, and historically one of the biggest refineries, in the country, or one of the oldest refineries in this country is from this region. At SHRM, we do a host of talent assessment and development work for the industry, and I have been closely working with the oil and gas industry, with different organizations like Kane, Reliance Energy, even Numaligarh refineries, right? A few critical skills which will be very crucial for students to start developing. And what I'll do, Sunita, before I end and hand it over to you, is just list out core 4 critical skills which are going to be very important for the future. For identifying prospects, particularly in oil and gas, and for that matter, even elsewhere, right? So first and foremost, strong project management skills, right? Being able to look through things as a project, identify start and stop times, being able to manage things in a timely manner is going to be very, very crucial in this industry and elsewhere, right? And you can pick up that skill in the form of certifications which are available out there. There is a project management certification by PMI Institute, so that's something which is easily available for students to think about. Critical thinking, being able to think through and analyze things, is the second skill which is very, very crucial. Safety, health and environment, right? We were talking about various aspects during this conference, and looking at climate change as an opportunity, really, not only as a problem that's in front of us, but really as an opportunity. About identifying what can I do, to benefit from this big problem, and how do I start addressing that through my career, is something which you all need to start thinking around, right? So for example, the job of a water auditor, as the ma'am who spoke right before me, was quite an eye-opener for me, right? There are millions of such jobs which are going to open up. I would also like to take this moment to recommend a book which I just finished reading recently. It's actually called How the World Really Works, right? It's by this gentleman, Vaclav Smil. He's a Canadian researcher, and he really talks about the hard facts behind the climate crisis, right? It's a book meant for young scientists. It's a book meant for young academicians such as yourself. So do pick that up. That's again something which is very, very informative for students. And finally, quality control in any industry is something which is very, very crucial. So think about jobs and careers in that direction. And of course, last and perhaps foremost, the people angle in any business is something which is extremely crucial. Both Sunita and I belong to the HR profession. There's an interesting statistic. As businesses grow and scale, 60% of issues which the CEO has to deal with center around people, right? And do you know who owns people issues within the organizations? It's the CHRO, right? And the role of human resources is something which is extremely crucial moving ahead, as we have businesses growing at scale in India. So that's a very, very critical skill that you should pick up. With that, I will stop, hand it over back to Sunita. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Nishit. You've got a round of applause right after you finish. So I hope that you heard Nishit talk about project management skills and critical thinking. But most importantly, please, let's all read a newspaper that we get either online or physical. Nothing like the physical paper for old-fashioned people like us, but newspaper porhiboi lagibo for us to know what's happening in the world. I think that's one skill set that we all can take home. Thanks, Nishit. Yeah, and Nishit is talking about a financial newspaper to know how the world of business, employability, job readiness works. Thanks, Nishit. Thanks a lot. I know you need to move. We now move to Shrikant Sinha, who's the CEO of the Telangana Skills and Knowledge Academy. Shrikant, there is this beautiful feature that you have written. It's like a small training module on how one can train, unlearn, retrain. So friends here, you do listen carefully. This session is about you and what you need to do, not about what industry or all of us need to do to get skills across the board. It's about how we need to develop ourselves, our mental health, and our skill health. Over to you, Shrikant.
Thank you, Sunita. Very good afternoon. Thank you very much, IndiGlobal, ASDM, Kalyan Garu, and everyone else for inviting me over here and sharing some of my views with you. I think probably what we need to understand right from beginning itself, when we are parents and our children want something.
Could I please request those who are chatting to please give respect to the speaker? Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry. Yeah, so as I was saying, we as parents, whenever our children ask us anything, we say, eat this, this is good for you. You go to school, and there the teacher says, learn this by heart, because that is what will come in the exam. You come to your college, they start talking about, this is from an examination point of view, it's important. And when these people end up in a job, what are the first thing that they are asked to do? Think for yourself. But we have not taught our students how to think for themselves. And that is probably where we should start. We should start by ensuring that we start helping our children, our youth, starting to think for themselves. Critical problem solving, etc., are skills which will only come once you start thinking differently, right? I'm sure all of you would have heard about the famous story where a rich Indian who had been educated abroad came back to his village, and when he had to go down to his village in his Audi car, he had to cross a river, a small river which had a narrow bridge, and he had a punctured tire, right? While he was fixing the tire, of course, first thing you do is you curse everyone. You curse the city, you should have said, I should never come back. Everything is cursed, but then he realized he has to change the tire. He started doing that. Unfortunately, when he had fixed the tire, about to put the nuts, he kicked the nuts by mistake into the river. Right? Is it a problem? Anyone? Problem, small problem, big problem? Big problem. Thank you. Yes. Again, what he did is started cursing. A shepherd was coming over there. He moved around the car and said, what is the problem? So he said, look, I was supposed to go. I had this flat and I kicked these nuts into the river by mistake. What do I do? So he said, very simple. Take out one nut from the remaining 3 wheels and put it in the 4th wheel so that you can drive to the nearest tire repair shop, right? Unless until you start looking at the solutions approach and not only the problems approach, you will not be able to do anything much. So that's the second skill that you should have. Critical problem solving, etc., will come only if you have a solutions approach. Then you should start looking at what you want to do in life. What is the direction you need to take? Like Madam Verma was talking about, in water also there are so many options available. So what is the skill? What is the competence you bring onto the table? What is your attitude towards it? That's the next thing that you should look at, right? For example, if you can't stand the sight of blood, should you become a doctor or join the defense forces, right? And that is where iterations happen. People join a job, but they are not interested in it. And that's where they fall out. So understand what your passion is and then move towards it. But most importantly, right, during our day and age, people used to say 17 plus 4 plus full stop. 17 years of your school education, 4 years of your college education, and then life is set. So, dear young friends, in case your parents say, study this year, once you finish your college, life will be easy. I'm sorry to burst a bubble, it will not happen that way. It is 17 plus 4 plus 40. You will continue to learn, unlearn, relearn till the time you are in a working job. And that is the mantra that you must always remember. It's learn, unlearn, relearn. And keep on repeating it again and again. All this will be driven by only one thing, your passion, right? So you need to understand where your passion lies, what you should do. As you're aware, in India, we were the first state in Telangana where we had the first rocket, private rocket was launched. And when you talk to these people, it's only their sheer passion to do something different was what they created. If you look at entrepreneurship, which we were talking about earlier in the panel also, it's very simple. There are so many problems, try to solve those problems with unique solutions. So always ensure that you think in a direction where you are into a problem-solving mode. Don't get worried about fear. Fear is what makes you, lose your competence, your skills, etc. And ensure that whatever you do, foundations are most important. How many of the students over here are from IT, computer science, etc.? Can I please see a show of hands? Computer science, IT, only 1, 2. Is that all? Good, some hands coming up, right? A lot of people want to enter that area, but if I ask you, the girl over there, how many, you're in, I'm assuming in the 3rd or 4th year? Yes, okay. How many programs, full programs have you written in your whole life? During your education in your college? I did a survey on this and found out that while we are wanting to enter the IT industry, be programmers, normally students don't write more than 3 to 5 programs in their entire education life itself. How can we be programmers? In case you're looking at programming or IT, then computational thinking is a very, very important skill, right? And for everything, your foundation is most important. Please remember, there is only one building like Hawa Mahal in the world, a building without foundation. So ensure that whatever you do, your career should be based on a very, very strong foundation, right? So please focus on concepts, focus on the foundation skills, and then build your career on it. I'll stop now, maybe answer later.
Yes, thanks, Shrikant. So I hope IndiGlobal can send a copy of that small feature that you, I mean, it's a very important feature that you wrote. It is really going to help everyone on the learn, unlearn, relearn. Mr. Saurav Gupta, you've just got 3 minutes for your response. Heading the operation of a hospital, the Kim Sunshine chain of hospitals, we would like to know from you, what are the special softer skills? Because like I said, this whole panel is more from the emotional, softer skills need of students all across India, especially Northeast. So what are the softer skills that you think that you look when you hire medical staff, nurses, GDA, assistants, and also maybe doctors? So if you could tell that, share that with us.
Sure. So thank you, Sunita, and thank you, the organizers. It's a privilege to again speak on this dais. I would just touch upon the healthcare, and I'll stick to my 3 minutes. So healthcare has a deep economic and social connection. Economic, we all have spoken about. Yesterday also there were many speakers. So healthcare will be the second largest sector in India, and it will be 750 billion USD by 2030. So it is a sunrise sector, then you will have more jobs than any other industry in healthcare. Now, when it comes to the social aspect, it's very important. Healthcare is one of the sectors where more than 50% of the workforce is women, because we have nurses and other healthcare professionals. So it is a very important sector which actually helps in uplifting of society. Okay. Coming to the skill sets, we have been speaking about a lot of technical skills, but there are behavioral skills which are very important. First of all, as the eminent panelist has spoken about, you should have a passion for healthcare. You should have a passion for anything which you want to do. If you do not have passion for patients, for people to get well, then healthcare is not the domain you should enter. That's the very first thing I must say. The second thing is, now there is a recent study which says that around 18 to 20% of the healthcare workforce, predominantly nurses, are from Northeast. And Northeast people, especially nurses, are being now preferred in Indian hospitals due to their compassionate nature. And that's a very good thing. And we also have a lot of people from Northeast. Please be compassionate, because that's the key, compassion and empathy of healthcare. But also be assertive in whatever you say. So sometimes we come across people who know, who are very good technically, who know the job, but they're not able to speak up. So speak up, build confidence, and I would actually suggest two things which are very different from what people say. One is travel. You are a student, this is the best time. You should actually undertake travel. Travel to various parts of India to learn the culture. Because what will happen eventually, Northeast will be the powerhouse of manpower, skilled manpower. And you will be working throughout India and even outside India. Travel actually empowers you. Travel teaches you a lot of new things. Travel opens your horizon. So take travel whenever possible. See India, how beautiful it is, how diverse it is. Learn new cultures. The second thing is, start meditating right now. By the way, how many of you have ever done meditation or meditate at this stage? Anyone? I can see barely 4 or 5 hands. Believe me, it really helps, especially in high pressure situations when you will be faced with, especially COVID was an example, when patients were pouring in and healthcare people were full to the brim. It was a very tensionous situation, and meditation will actually help you to concentrate. So do meditation. And a lot of universities and institutes have actually inculcated things like Vipassana in their curriculum. So that is something which I will advise. Do I have more time or?
No, because
Okay.
there is a request
Great.
for another
No issue.
Q&A after this. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta. So being compassionate, we have the sense of being compassionate within us, and we are not scared to see blood and scissors and knives, that's when we need to join the healthcare industry. Thanks for that very brief but very, very precise inputs. I would now like to ask Juhi Barua, who is the HR director of the Assam Don Bosco University. Naam to sake hunise sobe, Dangor University, Tepesiat ase, and Juhi has worked across continents, across countries, across corporations. So Juhi, my question to you is, what are the 3 key strengths that you see in the softer skills of Northeastern students, and what are the 3 opportunities that you see in them to grow further?
Definitely. Thank you so much, Sunita. So a very good afternoon to respected panelists and respected audience members, and also the very young audience members. So far, I'm sure you've heard very engaging talk by our previous panelist members. And I hope you paid good attention. I can see, expressions on your face. Yes, some interested, some curious, and some wondering what is going on. But this is a very relevant forum. So if you've listened very carefully to the previous panelists, first Mr. Nishant, where he spoke about a changing landscape, yes? Then Mr. Shrikant spoke to you about problem solving. And then, of course, Mr. Saurabh spoke to you about compassion. So these are very, very key elements. And in my capacity, in my current role at the university, and it's with a great sense of pride and humility that I can say that Assam Don Bosco University is the first private university to be accredited with Grade A NAC in Assam. Thank you. So we interact with 3,500 students almost, on a daily basis. And I think the greatest strength is our region, is where we come from. Here in the Northeast, we are home to more than 300 tribes. And we can see that reflected in our student population. So the diversity of our culture is our greatest strength. Diversity helps us to understand each other, to be compassionate, and Mr. Saurabh said, because you are looking at each other through different perspectives. It is then that we collaborate and we hone compassion. So I think this would be our greatest strength. The next strength, I would say, is that we know how to articulate. Yes? You know, we are able to, yes, I know Mr. Saurav said that some of us may be shy of speaking up, but yes, when we can, yes, we articulate very well. In fact, you would see most of our students also, you know, being employed in call centers, you know, in Amazon or be it any technical delivery center as well. So we are articulate. So learn how to hone your skills in articulation and speaking up. Okay? Because I think the trendiest, there is no longer a culture of, yes, somebody is looking at me or I'm not speaking the right language. As long as you are communicating, it does not matter. Yes? And you must have the self-confidence to do that. The third greatest strength, I think, in students here would be kindness. Yes, again, and that comes from the diversity of culture. I think almost an everyday basis, I see acts of kindness by students, either towards each other, or the way they treat their teachers, or the way they treat, you know, senior people, you know, learning to give your place up for a senior citizen who may be, you know, standing in a bus. So please learn to hone these strengths of yours, yeah? So as I have said, it is, you know, your multicultural diversity, your kindness, your ability to speak up, to be articulate. So continue to build on those strengths. In fact, when Miss Sunita called me first and she said challenges, I was basically going to say that we do not talk about this deficit discourse anymore. In Don Bosco University, or even in modern management trends, we do not have a deficit discourse wherein we just focus on the challenges. That is not to take away the problem. Yes, the problem must be addressed. But we also look at our strengths. What am I good at? It could be playing the guitar. Be good at playing the guitar. You can see our cultural icon from our region here, Miss Sunita. At a very young age, she honed her talent at playing the violin. And today she's a world-renowned violinist, collaborating with groups right across the globe.
Thank you, Juhi. Thanks for your inputs.
Yeah. So be good at what you do, right? So the opportunities here for our youth is hone your strength, okay? Yes, everybody is talking about IT because everything is being digitized some way or the other, and now with ChatGPT, yes, it's much contested though, because ChatGPT is said to, you know, even do exams in law, yes, in engineering, but there is an error of ChatGPT. Basically, it cannot compute simple mathematical problems. Apparently, that's one error which I read in a critical review of ChatGPT. Yeah? So the thing is that you have to be very, very good at what you do, not like a Google search finder or a ChatGPT. It's very easy for our students to sometimes sit in class and think that they know everything and think that you can Google it. No. The experience of sitting in a classroom and learning from your teacher through a discourse with students, through collaboration, the very experience, that is knowledge. Not just information which you get from Google, that is not knowledge. When you know, when you process that information and you are able to apply it to problem solving, that is what we call knowledge. Okay? So don't think that Google and ChatGPT are here to rescue you and get you good grades. No. You have to go through the proper process of education, of being able to learn from the entire environment. Okay? So I think that's one opportunity. You become good at what you do. Second, assimilate the environment that you are in. And the third is please be aware of the opportunities around you. Yes? There are plenty of opportunities here in the Northeast itself. Whereas, you know, whether you would like to start your own entrepreneurship, you know, we have very young entrepreneurs here as well in the region. Whether it could be even writing a poem and learning how to publish, whether it becoming a writer, we have very many young writers here from the region. Yes, we have so many writers such as Janice Parriott, Anjum Hassan, Easterine Kiri. So we have so many writers who are coming here from the region. So be aware of the opportunities. And to sum up what I have said, what Mr. Nishit spoke about a changing landscape. Please let me tell you that you have to be prepared. It is no longer that I want to become a doctor, I want to become an engineer, I want to become a computer scientist. You have to be prepared for a future, a world of jobs which have not existed earlier.
That's amazing, Juhi. Thank you so much for this passionate, I think a round of applause for Ms. Juhi Barua for her real rounded approach that you gave towards opportunities and strengths. We are coming towards the end of the panel, and we have KB Rajendran of Suraj Foundation. You just have actually 2.5 minutes. But as we move from critical skills to learning abilities, to kindness, humanity, and the human approach, we would like to end the panel with the concept of good mental and emotional health. Because I think that's the core. Once we are mentally and emotionally secure, confident in what we are doing, only then all the skills that we imbibe can come in use. So, KBR, what are the plans, if you can quickly share, that you are planning to do with students, especially young professionals, around mental health?
Sure. Is this on?
Yeah, it's on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. Let me see what I can accomplish in 2.5 minutes. So I got interested in this mental health while I was managing large scale projects in my previous assignments. I have, me and my team have skill trained more than 100,000 students in dozen states in the country. So at that time, under the skill ecosystem, mental health was not a focus area, but we did have crisis every day around mental health of students, and not just the students, the teachers as well. And these two areas caught my interest, and right now we do have a foundation called Suraj Foundation, which is focusing on initiatives around arts and culture, and one initiative is to focus on mental health. So if you look at some statistics, about 14% of the world's disease burden is by mental health. Just before COVID, about 14% of world's teenagers had some kind of mental illness, which increased by about 25% during the first year of COVID. Now, post-COVID, there are no statistics available, but it's doubtful whether these numbers have gone down. Now, look at the Indian school system only. I don't know how many of you know that we have 15 lakh schools, 26 crore students, and nearly 1 crore teachers. So these are huge numbers, being a country of this size, and in which the discussion on mental health is at best muted, okay? And they are fairly limited to upmarket private schools. You may, I don't know whether you know, 50% of Indian students school students study in private schools, but almost 25% of them are charging less than 500 rupees per month. So they are sort of equivalent to government schools in their format in which they handle the complexities. So we have come up with, some consultants have helped us create this program by which we use arts and culture for working on projects which improve the mental well-being of students. At the same time, the teachers. Because you can't have a discourse about students without talking about teachers. So in its, and another initiative is about these arts and culture projects contributing to learning and development. There are also projects on intercultural collaborations and between states and between countries in this. One specific project we are now running in some government schools in some parts of the country are about getting a bunch of students to perform around a theme. They come around and perform around a theme, and this would address their anxieties and channelize their energy. You can see the complexities in today's world, how much pressure, stress the students are under. In fact, many of the students sitting here also might be under such pressure. So we need to provide them an outlet or a forum for channelizing their energies, and we have figured it out as a forum for performance around a certain chosen theme by a group of students in a workshop format. And we've seen that by students and teachers coming to and performing this, some amount of stress is removed from the system. So I can contribute more if there's more time.
Great, thanks. So there is yoga, there is meditation.
Yeah.
You have your round of applause to KBR. So would like to end that the key, it all starts with our mind, and only then can our mind process the skills that we learn. And when we say the mind, it's the heart and the mind both together. Hence, how do we give the nutrition to our brain? You know, we don't treat the brain as an important part of our body. So that's what we wanted to end this panel with. So my humble appeal to all the policymakers, I'm so happy to see Ankur Jain sir also here that mental health, emotional, all-rounded development of the student is only going to give us the skilled executives that we are all talking about in the last 2 days. Hence, my appeal to all of you here, students, parents, guardians, policymakers, executives, that let's start at the core and also develop the core that each of us are confident, happy. A happy human being is a productive human being. And happiness and productivity is a byproduct of peace also. So let's hope there is peace in this world, there's a beautiful environment, and there is good mental health and well-being. Thank you so much for watching our panel, and thanks to the wonderful speakers here who gave us their inputs. And thank you, Sudhir, for your patience. Thank you.
Let us hear it once again for our wonderful speakers who have joined from across the country. Any questions in the audience? 30 seconds.
Questions
Anyone?
from this side? Any questions from this side? You know why I'm saying this side? Because there's a light, so we couldn't see your faces well. So we didn't know whether, you know. So any questions from here to any of the panelists?
Anyone? You'll not get to speak to such speakers who have joined all the way to Guwahati now.
Anything you want to know about mental health? Anything you want to know about emotional well-being?
Just raise your hand.
There is no stigma. Let's break the myth. The brain is a part of the body like our heart, our stomach, our lungs, our liver. Anytime we face a problem, we think that we are feeling weak and we are not feeling healthy in the morning to get up and talk to people. It is not something abnormal. It is not madness. It is not to be shy of. Please share with your your dear ones, your teachers, so that people can help each other. So anything that you may want to share, ask our panel here. Please, this is your last opportunity. Even a teacher or a guardian can ask a question.
Maybe they would like to ask offline questions.
Yes, I think with this,
Excuse me,
Sudhir, yes,
Yeah, one person is asking the question.
great.
Hello, ma'am. Hello,
Your
ma'am.
name and college or, yeah.
My name is Meghali Daka. I am from Pop Kamrup College. I had some mental health issues, so I wanted to ask how to control like my feelings and exam pressure and all that.
Great. First of all, round of applause to Anamika for being brave enough to let us know, because talking about what we need is nothing to be shy of. Thank you. And Anamika, right? What's your name? Naam to Kobako?
Meghali Daka.
Okay. Meghali, you know, there's nothing to control. Don't think that you have to control it, subside it, and put it under the carpet. We just need to deal with it. There are people, there are doctors, there are counselors. You don't even have to go to the doctors right away. We can go to counselors. First, I think you can talk to your teacher or your parents, who may be able to help you to take you to someone who can talk to you. Exam pressure is very common. People fall sick the day before the exams. I have had sleeplessness before my exams all throughout my life. There's nothing to control, nothing to be worried about. Just talk to someone and take some help. There are ways of coping. There are things called coping mechanisms which can help you. So if you go to your teacher or to your parents, first you have to go to these two entities in your life to help you. And I'm sure they can direct you. If not, do write to us, do write to IndiGlobal, and we can help you to put you on to someone who can speak to you on the phone, if not personally.
Thank you so much. A huge round of applause for our panel here. And to do the honors to our speakers here, we have our...
Excuse me, still she is asking them. Hello, ma'am?
Yes, okay, great.
Ma'am, I am having some pressures choosing my dreams or balanced career. I mean, I want to be an artist, but
Oh.
in art there is not. There are risks and
Great. So what you need to do, one, you can go to a career counselor, or you can definitely call you can give me a call, because I refuse to believe that art doesn't have a business offering. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of artists in the all of Northeastern region who are making a livelihood, maintaining families through art. Yes, there may not be as many jobs as IT and computers and engineering, but we are all gathered here to create that. Exclusion हो रहा है sir art को लेके. So we have to figure out a way to encourage people to pursue their passions. Do give us a call. We'll try and see what we can do to help you the most.
Thank you so much. Now we'll move on to do the honors to our speakers on stage. I would like to call upon the program chair of IndiGlobal Bharat Summit, Dr. B. Kalyan Chakravarti, Principal Secretary, Skill, Entrepreneurship and Employment Department, Government of Assam. A round of applause. For the wonderful moderation is Sunita Mian. She's the one who curated this particular theme, Break the Bias, and a panel discussion on skills and attitudes for employability and students. Next up is Mr. Srikant Sinha, CEO, Telangana Academy of Skill and Knowledge. We have Mr. Saurabh Gupta, COO, Krishna Institute of Medical Science, Sunshine Hospitals. Mr. K.V. Rajendran, Partner, Suraj Foundation. And last but not the least of this panel is Kajal Sakia, Head HR in RS. Juhi Barua. We would request for a group picture with the mementos in the front. Thank you so much. With this, we would be moving on to our next panel discussion. That would be on handloom sectors in the Northeast, opportunities and challenges, where we'll be touching upon the main points, that is marketing and branding linkages, standardization issues, central and state government schemes in promoting traditional handlooms, marketing of Assamese gamosha and makhela chadar. To do for this, I would like to call upon our speakers on the stage, Brigadier Rajiv Kumar Singh, Managing Director, Northeastern Handicrafts and Handloom Development Corporation. A round of applause to Brigadier Rajiv Kumar Singh. Also, Shri S. Bandyopadhyaya, Director, Weavers Service Center, Ministry of Textiles, Guwahati. Let us hear it up for our speakers who are joining us. Dr. Sandhya Ravi, Professor and Principal, Nitte School of Fashion Technology and Interior Design, Bangalore, Karnataka. Shri Amarendra Kumar Das, Professor, Department of Design, IIT Guwahati. And Shri Sanjeev Shab Pandit, Proprietor, Vibjior Enterprise, Guwahati. Dr. Swapna Mishra, Chief Operation Officer and Chief Officiating CEO, Textile Sector Skill Council, New Delhi. And also Mr. Manish Kumar Jain, the entrepreneur who is related to the skill in textiles. A round of applause before our speakers start here. And we would request our esteemed speaker, Dr. Sandhya Ravi, to moderate the session. Over to you, ma'am. Okay. My mistake, it's Dr. Swapna Mishra, moderator, Chief Operation Officer and officiating CEO for Textile Sector Skill Council, New Delhi.
Very good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Great. So here for this session, we have people from different areas and institutions. So we have Dr. Das from IIT Guwahati, who has been working on designing new instruments. Is English okay for everyone? Okay, great. And we have Dr. Bandyopadhyay from US Service Center. We have ma'am, sir, and we have the owner of a very innovative organization, contributing towards a lot other areas, not just handlooms. So, and I'm from the Textile Sector Skill Council, so we are under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, developing the ecosystem for training, skilling, and placements. There are 36, 37 sector skill councils, and Textile Sector Skill Council is one of them. We have developed over 77 courses, out of which some have been adopted under Samarth also. So we are discussing the opportunities and challenges. I would first invite Dr. Bandyopadhyay to speak on, if a candidate is already trained or already has skills in the handloom sector, how can he avail different opportunities? What are the challenges they would face, and what are the opportunities available which they can avail to expand their work? Dr. Bandyopadhyay.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon to all of you. I would like to say a few words before addressing the topic raised by Honorable Madam. Definitely representing from Ministry of Textiles, Development Commissioner for Handlooms, I feel proud that I'm working here in Northeastern region. And Weaver Service Center, basically it is coming under Development Commissioner for Handlooms and addressing across country, rendering technical services. And it is very precise and very relevant too, that whatever challenges we are observing in every nook and corner of the country, the Northeastern region is little different because of the terrain issues and some other limitations. Definitely, it is a very relevant topic today we are discussing about, that under Ministry of Textiles, DC Handloom, following the flagship scheme, National Handloom Development Program, NHDP, and addressing various issues for the sector of handloom. There's a cottage is always unorganized and scattered, and that is our challenge everywhere. And the beneficiaries, those who are weavers and ancillary workers, require various handhold support. And that way, we are working with the state machineries, because in every state we have at least one center, Weaver Service Center. But in few states we don't have, but the state machineries are there. It is working under Commerce and Industries or the Handloom and Textiles. So basically we have seen that the weavers are basically skilled and sometimes semi-skilled. They require skill upgradation. They require some capacity building program, not for the average weaving process. that they are following in present days, but definitely to chase the upmarket or the quality products, whatever technology or technical interventions happened, based on that, we are preparing a syllabus, and now in present days, under Samarth, we are providing 8 such jobs under weaving, dyeing design, and printing discipline. And weavers are selected or shortlisted weavers are getting those skill upgradation training. After the training, definitely they are getting some wage compensation because we are inviting semi-skilled weaver from the rural area, and they are devoting full-time attendance here to cope up the knowledge. And we have a process for assessment of trainees, and if they are qualified, in that case, they are getting wage compensation. During the training, whatever equipments, tools, machineries, raw material required, that they are getting. But this is, as I have mentioned about the cottage industry, that while undergoing any training program, so they are expecting to follow to the same technique for their post-training session. And for that, they require some assured job or orders, and marketing assistance is needed. That way, we have designed our scheme. Under NHDP, we have 2 different folds, which is one is under cluster development program, and other is outside the cluster. So the individuals outside the cluster fold, they may these days avail this kind of assistance. For example, if they are now under Samarth, they have trained through improved devices, upgraded looms and devices, or the dyeing techniques, definitely they require such equipments in their household. So that way they are applying their applications and getting 90% GOI share to avail those facilities. At the same time, whenever they found that they got adequate products, because we are providing at the same time the design intervention, product diversification, test marketing process, and through that intervention, they are equipped to participate in different exhibitions and events. And that way, in the state, within the state or outside the state, they are participating in National Handloom Expo, Delhi Haat, and other craft melas with availing free stalls, freight subsidy, and the fair, TADA, etc. And we have seen that if you see the target group of consumers are basically proposed to be categorized into domestic and overseas, and further into mass and premium. So for premium market precisely, we require very close monitoring and intervention of design and product development. So our one flagship component called Hatkargha Sambardhan Sahayata. So that under that Hatkargha Sambardhan Sahayata, we have enlisted around 50 upgraded devices, irrespective of looms and pre-loom gadgets, post-loom gadgets, and dyeing equipments, etc. So that they are availing, getting 90% from GOI share. And I would like to mention about the upgraded device, like those who are practicing, like in Assam, you must be knowing that Sualkuchi is very popular and prominent hub of Assam, doing Muga and Eri silk product with good designs, traditional Assamese designs, and sometimes they are catering for the contemporary market too. And for that, they require upgraded design devices. So we have introduced electronic jacquard to avail. This cost, very expensive device, and it is cost like 3 lakh rupees, and now they are getting 90% GOI assistance. But the thing is, while availing their training program, we have to be very keen with the collaboration with the state machineries while preparing our proposal, that such assistance should be provided before availing any such kind assistance. We may mention about the areas where the schemes under special handloom project, that is covered under NHDP. So earlier it was, as I have mentioned about the cluster program, cluster is the size of 200 to 400 weavers. Now we don't have any cap for the weaver sizes. Whosoever practicing weaving, their products are marketable and their potential, they require several assistance, they may go for cluster program, and that way state and other agencies and their apex bodies may submit their applications to DC handloom offices for further assistance. And we have some above, on top of the cluster program is mega cluster, which cost 30 CR, and which is a holistic approach where we are proposing for some infrastructure development. Because as we all know, the textile, in sector, the dyeing practices is a very common and prominent trade, and that is why we require dyeing facilities or some pre-loom, post-loom facilities in every pockets. And we are getting a good number of proposals from the northeastern region these days for setting up those pre-loom, post-loom setup, as well as the design studio and the dyeing facilities. So these kind of machines, we have seen that several institutes like IIT and other reputed institutes are doing some R&D and providing good machines. So we have a dynamic process for Hatkarka Samvardhan Sayata, where our technical committee incorporating those machines in a regular manner, so that the weavers and their community or their specific project can avail these kind of facilities for the betterment of the handloom. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So as all of you know, there are around 77 jobs in textile sector which are NSQF aligned. Out of that, 15 of them are in handloom, and 8 of them are covered under Samart scheme also. The 15 are covered under the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So Dr. Bandyopadhyay has already told that there are various other schemes which are available to assist the person once he has the competency already or acquires the competency after short-term training. Now, handlooms is supposed to be a very tedious process, not very comfortable and very hard on the weaver. And therefore, I would invite Dr. A.K. Das from IIT Guwahati to throw some light on the intervention IIT Guwahati has done to help the weavers in this aspect. Dr. Das, please. And I would request the speakers to kindly stick to the 4-minute timeline. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I can see lots of students in front of me, and I hope you are enjoying the environment of IIT. IIT, we try to solve technological problems, design problems to make life easier. And in textiles also, we have been doing the same. Textile, if you see during the independence, textile sector was one of the best sectors for which government did not have to think, but that also made that sector go dwindling. And handloom is one of the sectors which provides lots of employment in the rural areas. And that is not only the things. Textiles that we make or the clothes that we wear, dresses that we wear, that bear our national culture. So Assamese will be wearing mekhla chadar and somebody will be wearing saris and all these things. So many of the tribes or even nationals, they are giving their identity through dresses. It's important. So when handloom it comes to, it's a manually operated loom, because if you use external power, it becomes power looms. So handloom is to be operated by hand, and it is obviously tedious, productivity is low, and nobody wants to become a weaver. So what we do, we have been designing looms, improving the looms, so that people can operate that loom very easily. And Assam is an area, or northeastern sector is an area where weavers are mostly women. So basically compared to Banaras or anywhere, where male weavers are there, it is difficult for women to do the tedious work. Our effort is to create smooth, energy efficient looms, which actually gives you good productivity, at the same time makes it easy for weaving. And ma'am will tell you about it. Quality is important. So traditional handlooms, it's very difficult to maintain your desired quality. We put things in such a way that you can easily maintain the quality. And we always sometimes hear questions like this, that since there is power loom, very advanced looms, why you need hand looms? There are mechanized looms which are very good, but that doesn't create employment for more people. That doesn't create avenues for creating very specific and design fabrics. Handloom is the only one that can provide. So we cannot just say that it is now designs are obsolete and all. We have to make it better. And we have been doing that. And effort has been seen. But handloom is such a thing that if you are not interested, you may not notice it. But you will notice one thing. How many of you have seen Dibbahan? Metal tricycle rickshaws. Do you recognize Dibbahan? Metal rickshaws? Nobody is talking? So that is a product which is on the road. You must be using it, metal rickshaws, and it is easier because all peoples are benefited. But handloom is such a thing that only weavers are benefited directly. The people who buy it, they don't know what is the hardship that weavers go, so it doesn't come into the focus. We try to make life easier, and government also is supporting it. You can imagine the biggest handloom clusters in North India is Banaras, and our Prime Minister is elected from that constituency. And he is putting lots of emphasis in it. And our latest loom that we came up with was actually effort of Prime Minister's office, scientific office. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now that we know that there are 15 courses under PMKY, 8 under Samart, and there is aid available for buying the equipment and marketing and other things under the Ministry of Textile schemes. There is also equipment available which reduces the drudgery. I would now invite Mr. Manish Kumar Jain, owner of Pradyogita Enterprises. Suppose somebody who's trained, who also has access to funding and who's aware of various schemes, if he wants to buy an equipment, how can his organization or other organizations help?
Thank you, ma'am. Myself, Manish Kumar Jain, Pradyogita Enterprise. I'm based in Guwahati. We are approved manufacturers for supplying and manufacturing these textile machines, especially handlooms, silk machines. See, we have got a lot of Eri and Muga silk cocoons available. That has to be evaluated, extracted. Na? So we are manufacturing these machines which can make yarn out of the cocoons, which are available in northeastern states especially. And from that we can weave the fabrics in the textile sector for local use as per our rich traditional items and equipments. See, we should, people of Assam, we should feel proud. Na? Our honorable CM, honorable PM, who's wearing Assamia Gamcha, which has been GI tag very recently, he always wear in some good occasions. That helps and makes us feel proud to weave our own traditional gamchas and fabrics in traditional items. So related to all these activities, there is a lot of scopes in Northeastern creating rural employment, women empowerment, and their ministry, as said by the earlier speakers, there are so many schemes which are coming up, which has been provided by the different ministries under handloom, textile, and skill development. We can create a lot of employment, and even some of the youngs, as I have seen a lot of youngsters are sitting here, they can take up as a traditional, as a commercial weavers, and then they can open up their own training institutes and then boutiques, and they can produce lot more fabrics. But the things that we have to manufacture the fabrics in any sort of looms, whether it is a power loom, hand loom, or any textile, so which can be marketable, which has got market. The potential of the fabric should be, the bias should be there. Also, we should come out from the local consumptions, which we are generally manufacturing for our own consumptions. So we think there is a lot of scope in northeastern states, especially in the upcoming area where we won't get much employment from the government sectors and all those. So we have to be an entrepreneur. We have to use the technologies. The technologies can help to reduce the cost of production. So once the cost of the productions are reduced, we can go for mass scale commercial, and then we can think of exporting and consuming the local market. There are so many techniques and technologies which we are manufacturing, and can, if anyone is interested, we are ready to supply and can provide them the training also. So we are looking forward. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So now that we know that there are schemes available, there are training programs available, there is a, drudgery is reduced by a new model. Also, there is a supplier available. The next thing is design intervention. And manual designing is very, very tedious and costly, and therefore TSC is also implementing a CAD training, that is computer-aided training, sponsored by Digital India Corporation which is developed by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. The software is called DigiBunai. You all can search it, and whoever is interested can connect to us for that training. One is design intervention. The other challenge which is there is the availability of yarn, and also especially the dyed yarn. So I would now invite Mr. Shanjit, who's the proprietor for Vipure Enterprises, with a question: what are the challenges and opportunities he foresees with respect to bringing the textiles of Northeast onto the world platform on a larger scale? Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, any product that one wishes to make, the eye has to be in the market first, because the product has to be sold. So when it is sold, what we understand by a market is the customer, basically we mean a customer. So that means we have to understand the likings and dislikings and preferences and tastes of the customers. So the taste of a customer today and the taste of a customer tomorrow are two different things. There are links, but then things are different, David. So from my experience of working in the field of textiles for the last about 35 years, what I can say is that taking fabrics and other textile materials from the Northeast to the outside world, to the global market or better, bigger market, there are a lot of other considerations that we need to address. One is this technical aspect. Supposing we are talking about muga. Muga is a unique yarn for some. But the issue is that muga, although it is very lovable for us, or it holds a very high degree of prestige for us, but yet this muga as it is not acceptable to the bigger world, because the fabric made out of muga yarn is very crispy, very rough, and it irritates the skin to a very large extent. Actually, I faced this situation in a Western country. Well, I took a piece of muga fabric to show it to them way back in 1987. They liked the color, they liked the texture, but when the matter came to using it as an apparel fabric, then they said no. So after a long gap since 1987, when in around 2010, 2015, I got involved with another textile industry here in near Guwahati. So I found that a lot of things are required to be done in the yarn itself, so that the fabric that comes out of that yarn is smooth or soft, or it has got that customer-friendly behavior as far as technical aspects are concerned. So that is one thing. So I think to take the fabric to a bigger market, a lot of things in Assam, with the textile material available, we need to do a lot of research activities. Now, blending of the yarn, blending of the fibers to make different kinds of yarn is also another aspect which we have not so far attempted. As for example, we have got a fiber called Remi. It is like a jute kind of thing, and it is very strong. People say that the tensile strength of the fiber is even better than that of steel. But if we want to make that particular fiber into an apparel fabric, we need to do a lot of mixing and a lot of other character changing operations on the material, so that it becomes, something which will be desired. No, again, if we just look at only with one perspective, then the things will not be proper. Supposing Remi, as I have mentioned just now, if we think that it can be oriented towards only apparel fabrics, then that may not be a suitable or a holistic solution. Because if the strength is the main criteria there, if the strength is the main characteristic there, then probably we can use it for other purposes, like for geotextiles, like for other, like tarpaulin kind of, making tarpaulin kind of cloths, or making even space suits also from that, or even making hose pipes out of that. So these are the different industrial applications of the Remi fiber, but we have to now standardize it, we have to now characterize it properly, and probably make different processes for working on that particular fiber to get a different kind of product for the market. Now, when Amarendra Das was saying about handlooms and some kind of mechanized looms working here in Assam, I would say that the products that Assamese weavers here make are not in ditto acceptable to a bigger or larger customer base, because the weaver is different, when the timing of the weaving is different, when the loom is different, you cannot really make a standardized type of cloth. No, there is if you are familiar with a handloom situation, you will find that a fabric which is woven in the morning time and that same fabric woven in the evening time, the beating, it becomes different. When the person becomes tired, or when the person weaving is weaker, then probably the beating is not proper. So the pick per inch will now vary. So when you make a costly cloth, like supposing a muga cloth, a muga fabric, or a silk fabric, that kind of variation is not acceptable to a customer. So a loom standardization is important to make a standard cloth. So going from the yarn, you have to go through the process of making the loom, so that whether it's a weak weaver, or it's a lady weaver, or it's a male weaver, it doesn't matter, the product quality remains the same. I suffered one particular setback when I was involved in a particular export-oriented project. I found that the sample was acceptable to them, but when they gave us an order about 1,000 meters of cloth, we failed, because the weaving quality was not same what we earlier showed them as a sample. So these are the kind of things we need to address. Again, coming to the point of dyed yarn, dyeing is also a very tricky technical issue. A lot of people are going for natural dyes, but then all types of colors cannot be achieved with natural dyes, as you all know that. But so again, there also we need to intervene slightly in a different way. Supposing we make a warp yarn with a different color and a weft yarn with a different color combination, then probably the outcome of the fabric will be somewhat different. So for that we need to standardize it, and before that we need to go through a process of making that particular or achieving that particular color. So otherwise making a particular shade in a particular high temperature, high pressure machine, or any kind of normal dyeing process to achieve a particular share is not a very difficult proposition. But to come to a terms where supposing organic things are needed in the market or when natural dyes are preferred in the market, in those situations you have to come to a logical support base for the dyeing system so that ultimately what is required in the market can be achieved comfortably. Thank you very
sir.
much.
Thank you so much. So, what he's trying to say, I'll just sum up in a manner commonly understandable by people. How many of you know Taj Mahal? Besides the reason why it is made, how many of you know the speciality of its foundation? What's so special about the foundation of Taj Mahal? So maybe you can Google it. It is based on a wooden foundation, and the only structure probably which passes through a river, which is very close to a river. And you know, in the presence of water, that strength of the wood increases. So that is what he meant, that you have to understand the material when you're applying for a certain. So when you're going for hose pipes, if you're weaving, you know, there'll be gaps in between. So you have to use a fiber which swells and, you know, closes the gaps. Something which is very strong, probably you don't use it for a dress material, you use it for something else. Fine. Then another thing is, if we don't have consistency, in the classroom someday the teacher will come, someday he will not come. So ultimately the students will stop coming. So consistency has to be there. That is another thing. And how many of you have experienced this? There are two very good people, but you bring them together, they are not compatible. They don't like each other. So they will work with him, but not work with him. How many of you have experienced this? None? So what happens is, if we like something, we'll really go a long way to work with them. If we don't like somebody, we really don't want to do even a bit. So if the dye does not have affinity or love for the fiber, it won't work. So you have to understand the material. So now that we know that the courses are there, the training programs are there, the interventions are there, schemes are there to support you, what things you should take care of, you know, you need to understand the material before you go into the application. And you also have availability of machinery, which is there. I would now invite Ms. Sandhya Ravi. She is the principal of a textile and fashion college. Suppose we have some students who are interested in doing something new in textiles and fashion, especially in Northeast. How do they go about it? Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Sapna. Good evening, everybody present here. In fact, first and foremost, I should congratulate all you Northeast students because you have handloom in your homes. Every home in Northeast does weave. I think a big round of applause for all the families of the Northeast. Because you guys are a great inspiration to all of us down there in South, for the simple reason that every family, they are not taught how to, weave. But definitely from times immemorial, their mothers have taught them how to go about doing it. So what is very important is, for them to, I would request the policymakers who are present here to see to it that they start courses that would definitely enhance the knowledge and help the students to build up their career, because this is completely a skill-oriented subject. And secondly, government has come out with so many schemes and policies that definitely will help all of you all start off or be an entrepreneur for yourself. So being an entrepreneur, what happens is you are giving jobs to others. And for that, what is most important is training yourself, perfectly. And for that, what is very, very important when you train also is you should have the knowledge of the market, what we call as a market mix. That is, product, place, price, and promotion. First, you should understand what is the kind of product that you have to deliver to the market. Then, based on the product, what is the place which is a place that you're going to deliver your products. And then, the pricing comes, and then how you promote your product is important. As all the panelists very clearly mentioned, standardization, definitely I say standardization is important, but in handloom, getting standardization is a little difficult. But world over, handlooms of India are loved very much. And secondly, India is very popular for our design culture and for the color combinations. People everywhere in the Europe love what actually, color combinations we have. That is one thing. And what I would advise the younger generation who are here is you must do a market survey, to understand what the consumer requires. See, when you do a market survey, definitely, you understand. You talk to 10 people around your house, you know what exactly they like, what is the style that they require. Start building in a smaller way, developing designs, sketching at free times. And definitely, I say every woman sitting here and every mother at home is a designer herself. Why? Because nobody taught anybody how to drape a sari, or nobody taught the mothers as to how to, braid their hair or do a hairstyle or do a simple makeup. But all of us are well equipped with all these basic things. So it is very, very important. And since it is a skill-oriented subject, I would urge all the students of Northeast to look at the course, because this will definitely give you job opportunities. Not only job opportunities, will give you a chance to work from the comforts of your house. You can start developing and, take up an e-commerce store to put up your products. So that gives you the flexibility to take care of your family as well as, take care of your business and be self-reliant and independent. And I just want to give you a small gist of my own story. My doctoral thesis was on sustainability. I did on environmental sustainability. And, the best thing what I did was, I was doing the research, but then I employed all the maids across my house to do the products. I trained them, and, they started doing the products. And today, I have a brand called Eco Moyer, and I do it through e-commerce store. And apart from that, what I have done is help the maids across my, in the vicinity of my area, earn some kind of livelihood, because earning about 500 rupees a day definitely helps them to buy milk and vegetables so that, they could live a decent life. So definitely this course, this particular sector has job opportunities, and I would end up by saying food, clothing and shelter never lose their sheen, and they are always there in, the basic necessity of man. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So all of you know that there's opportunity to get trained and have your own ecosystem, become an entrepreneur right from procurement of yarn to fabric to dyeing to design and also e-commerce. And you can connect to any one of us if you have further queries. Now, since we have a little bit of time, we'll take some 3 questions from audience. Any questions? See, if you don't have any questions, I've taught for almost 20 years and yeah, please. Because no questions means either everything has been understood or nothing has been understood. Please, ma'am. Somebody please pass on the mic.
Ma'am, I just want to know, in case someone wants to go for design diversification among rural women in Assam, then what is the approach we should take for that?
So you may connect to us. We have a training program going on right now which teaches CAD design to women weavers, where they are learning design interventions. And it's a 10 days course with a wage compensation given to them. And that, it's an 80 hours course, so it could be spread 8 hours per day into 10 days or 2 hours per day, so total 80 hours have to be done. And close to 400 weavers have been already benefited in Assam We have some more targets, so you please connect to us. We'll guide you on how to do that.
Apart from the existing programs which are being sponsored by the Department of Textile and Handloom, apart from the existing one, are there any more diversified training programs for women?
So, if we are looking for something which is apart from existing, we'll...
One point.
Sure.
You see, what you have raised is a very, very pertinent point, is that without design changes, without design diversification, the products will not really last in the market eternally. So, I am just willing to give you an example. Actually, these days I am using a gamcha in my home, and that gamcha is not a conventional, the floral designs are not the same as earlier it used to be. Like, I am not using that normally japi type gamcha. This one that I am using particularly has a hargila. Hargila is what in English? Hargila is a stork, greater adjutant stork. Purnima Devi Burman, who is a Green Oscar winner from Assam, she actually has been working in a village just pretty about within 10 kilometers from this IIT campus. It is near Dodora. She is promoting conservation of Hargila bird, that means greater conservation of that particular bird. And she has brought that Hargila to the gamcha design. Now that is now gaining immense popularity amongst a large section of the people. Now that can be one direction in which our designers can move, like conservation of nature, conservation of wildlife, conservation of traditional or ethnic systems, ethnic products, ethnic components in their villages. Like supposing a house called Mereng. Mereng is a house in the, I think, in the Naga or Missing community, Naga community, yes. So that particular house is very unique in nature. The front goes up towards the sky, where the portion that is behind is somewhat substantially below. The design is so unique that if you can bring that to some kind of textile product, it will catch attention of the people. So I would suggest that the canvas is available before us. You have to just have an eye to identify it so that it can be placed in a good product so that it can catch a market. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I would invite all of you, whoever is interested, to get trained in that designing software and create your own designs and find a market. Another question? Yes, please. Can somebody please pass on the mic?
Hello. Hello, gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Sokim Kumar Nath. Today it is said that the handicrafts of Assam have improved a lot. Now my question is, what is the reason why factory made gamusa resides in Assam today instead of Assamese gamusa?
Your question is not clear. Can you just put your mic a little further away from your...
मैंने बोला है असम का गामूसा असमीज गामूसा असम में ही क्यों यूज नहीं करता है जब इतनी फंक्शन में बाहर की गामूसा यूज करता है असमीज गामूसा कहा गया असमीज हिपिनी का गामूसा कहा गया
I'll answer that. No, so I'll answer that question. You know, I'm giving you a leverage because you might be in your school or college uniform, but generally, if we see, the women here have still maintained the traditional clothing. The men per se have all adopted the British clothing, because you know. So we have to bring the change. We have to adopt what we were. If we forget, you have to start using it, all of us.
नहीं मैम हम असम का हैंडीक्राफ्ट डिपार्टमेंट अब हमारे असम में है ना इसलिए मैंने इस क्वेश्चन के सामने आप लोगों के आगे रखा है इसलिए
Actually, you see, let me answer that question in a slightly different way.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Since the late 1970s, a kind of new regeneration of Assamese identity started. So, starting from the Assam agitation or Assam movement, as you can call it, from that point of time, the preference to promote Assamese culture, actually it went into an upswing. Geographical boundary of Assam. Although it is made in Gorasor, it is made in powerlooms, in Dhubri it is made in powerlooms, in Hosai it is made in powerlooms. We are talking about only whatever visible in within the main central places of Assam. We are talking about these things. But actually, that is a volume which Assamese weavers are not capable of addressing. So the powerlooms will have to come to the rescue. If you want to wear a gamsa, you cannot produce here locally. If you cannot produce it locally, then it has to come. When you are creating that demand will be met by some source. Actually, you are not aware, gamsas are coming from China also. Are you aware of that fact? Gamsas are coming from China. Like in Maharashtra, in Maratha, they do this Ganesh Chaturthi, Ganesh Puja. The idols are coming from China. Yeah. Do you know, we hold this bhavna, no? Bhavna is a traditional Assamese dance drama thing. Do you know a single component of the bhavna is made in Assam? So don't be very fussy about it. No, let us be comfortable, work hard. You will find at a particular point of time, you will be able to take a reasonable share of the market if you work in that direction. If the market is created, if you are not producing, somebody will definitely come and take your market. So there should not be emotionalizing, it should not be emotionalized. Thank you.
Sir, thank you. So maybe you can take this opportunity to create a market and supply.
Madam,
So,
I'm putting one optimistic light here, that recently, in the very recent, we got GI registration on Gamusa. So I'm giving some light that we can definitely address this issue. The way our panelists described, that is the hard reality, that we can't stop inflow of powerloom made Gamusa. But definitely now we have several other tools in our hand while arresting such production units across country within the state, because it is now GI made and Gamusa is already under Reservation Act. So that way, that drive will help us to reduce these practices. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
So since we have already overshooted the time, we would like to thank you all for such a patient listening. For any further clarifications, you can connect to us off the stage. Thank you so much. I would like to thank all the speakers.
I would like to also add one more point about Gamsa. You know, in Assam, Gamsa is a cotton cloth. It's a cotton fabric. Do you know that in Assam, not a single kilogram of cotton is produced? Do you know this? Assam does not produce a single kg of cotton yarn. So, whatever Gamsa we are wearing is all cotton yarn coming from South India. So, we should be very, very rational about it also.
Excuse me,
Thank
sir.
you.
I think we can take this discussion off the stage, because now we'll have to, move on to the next session. I thank all the speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. A round of applause for our speakers, and I think I felt it was quite interactive from the students. Questions were short, and I think the speakers were able to answer all of it. A round of applause for them once again. And to do the honors, I would request our very special guest, Senior Bureaucrat, Radhika Rastogi Madam, to please do the honors and present the mementos to our esteemed speakers on dais. And we have, for wonderfully moderating this session, we have Dr. Swapna Mishra, Chief Operation Officer and officially CEO, Textile Sector Skill Council. A round of applause. Let us hear it up. And Dr. Sandhya Ravi, Professor and Principal, Nitya School of Fashion and Technology and Interior Design, Bengaluru, Karnataka. Sri Amrendra Kumar Das, Professor, Department of Design, IIT Guwahati. Sri Sanjeev Sabha Pandit, Proprietor, Video Enterprise, Guwahati, Assam. Thank you so much, everyone. Now the time has come for our wonderful valedictory sessions. We will be joined by two of our ministers from the state of Assam. We will be joined by our Honorable Minister for Skills, Sri Jayanta Malabaravasa, who is the Minister for Skill, Employment, Entrepreneurship, Tourism and Public Health Engineering. And also we would be joined by our special guest and speaker, and we would also have a very beautiful musical session. I would request all esteemed delegates and students to stay back so that we'll have this wonderful valedictory session.
Session by the Sunita Puya.
চিনি পাইছেনে গানটো কোনটো কোনটো গান আয়া sa 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 pa da sa 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 pa da sa re ga pa dha pa ga re re बुढ़ालुई तुम्ही ओ गंगा बहती हो क्यों भूपेन हजारिका या टैगोर या बॉलीवुड गजल भजन गीत पूरा दुनिया की संगीत में 7 सुर ही होता है what you hear are the lyrics what you see are the visuals but what lies beneath are the 7 notes विस्तार है अपार टुगेदर प्रजा दोनों पार करे हाहाकार निशब्द सदा ओ गंगा तुम ओ गंगा बहती हो क्यों आप लोग को यू नो द असमीज वर्जन और द हिंदी वर्जन विच वन क्या कौन सा वर्जन असमीज विस्तीर्ण पारे असंख्य जन रे हाहाकार हुनिउ निशब्द नीरवे बुढ़ालुई तुम्ही बुढ़ालुई बुआ किया विस्तीर्ण बेंगली विस्तीर्ण দুপারে অসংখ্য মানুষের হাহাকার শুনেও নিঃশব্দে নীরবে ও গঙ্গা তুমি ও গঙ্গা বইছো কেন দ্য হিন্দি ভার্সন ये तो साउंड चेक है साउंड चेक में इतना अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स थैंक यू गॉड मानवता नष्ट हुई नैतिकता भ्रष्ट हुई निर्लज भाव से बहती हो क्यों इतिहास की पुकार करे हुनकार इतिहास की पुकार करे हुनकार ओ गंगा की धार निर्बल जन को प्रबल संग्रामी समग्र ग्रामी बनाती नहीं हो क्यों दिव्य ज्योति के लिए तालियां हो जाए There was a question earlier that can I make arts my career? दिव्य ज्योति के फादर भी बड़े तबला प्लेयर थे डिगबॉय के दिव्य ज्योति हैज लर्नड ओनली क्लासिकल म्यूजिक जो हमने पहले सीखा है कि फाउंडेशन सर जब गेस्ट चीफ गेस्ट आ जाएंगे बता दीजिए जब when the foundation is strong you can do all kinds of work in your own subject. Dibya Jyoti ne khali classical sikha. He only learned classical all his life since he was 8 years old. But today, Dibya Jyoti plays with me in jazz concerts in Dubai. He plays with me in folk concerts in Bombay. He plays with me in classical concerts. That's the power of knowledge. The deeper the depth, wider the expertise. ये तो sound check हो रहा है, तो दिव्यज्योति অকমান কিবা এটা বজাই দিয়া মোৰ বোৰ্ডাল অকমান ৰেডি কৰিব আছে আৰু कल हमारे पूरा बैंड था हमारे साथ आपने देखा जोगेन था फ्लूट में लेकिन ये सेशन जो है आज का सेशन है was a request from Kalyan ji who I think is the universal IS officer who is a friend for everyone. We had Archana ji claiming that he's a friend and today I must tell you I came here for Sudhir to do the panel but I'm playing today here because of Kalyan ji's genuine request that we'll have a hall full of children today in the evening. So we are here. We don't have our orchestra, our team today, Kalyan ji. Flute, keyboards नहीं है आज क्योंकि कल थे वो लोग लेकिन आज एनर्जी के साथ ही हमको कुछ पेश करना पड़ेगा. The chief guest hasn't arrived, right? I'll carry on, yes. But just let me, because stage से ना अच्छे से दिखाई नहीं देता है और artists लोग जब बजाते हैं ना पहचानते नहीं लोगों को कभी. तो you have to give me the warning. Okay, जब तक मैं bow ready करूँ, violin teaches us a lot of motor skills. Hence, अगर आपके घर में गिटार है, flute है, तबला है, violin नहीं है तो हमको phone कीजिए. I'll try and send you a violin. जब एक instrument, when we play an instrument, it develops our motor skills. Because violin is two instruments, one and then the bow. A lot of times we don't understand the importance of our mentors, of our supporters, of our enablers. The bow is the biggest enabler for me to play the violin. Bow से ही आवाज आती है. Violin बजता है एक हाथ से, लेकिन bow से उसका tone, उसका speed, its quality, its richness comes from the bow. जब तक मैं bow को ready नहीं करती हूँ, दिव्या, would you like to play a little piece? अब तो थोड़ा देर क्लैप नहीं बजाइए सुनिए. वाह. वक्रतुंडा महाकाया सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. A warm welcome to Honorable Minister Sir, to Ankurji, Director Sir of IIT. This was an invocation to Lord Ganesha to bless us all this evening at the valedictory function of Rising Northeast, presented by IndiGlobal, ASDM, Government of Assam, and being hosted in this iconic, epic institution, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. Sangeet jo hai is not just a medium of entertainment. There are two profound benefits of music, and sir, today I'm here not as a musician, as an educationist, as a practitioner who wants that along with skills, along with industry, along with the various offerings that we are trying to develop in our youth and our students, at the core, we start with the mind and mental health emotional well-being, so that every student tomorrow is ready to take on the challenges, the adversities, the diversities that the world throws at them when they start working. Manochik Saistoy is the most important part for students' development. So that's, आप बजा सकते हैं एक ताली, आपने इतना ताली बजाया मिनिस्टर जी आने के पहले, अभी क्यों नहीं बजा सकते? Music has a profound benefit on the mind and body. Sound travels to the sound waves from the source, reaches the mind, and as soon as the mind hears a piece of music, it starts sending signals to the body via the nervous system. And that's when we produce endorphins, which is the hormone that gives us happiness. Hence, happiness is scientific. Along with happiness, if we can be kind and helpful and nurturing, we have two more hormones in the body, oxytocin and serotonin, which helps us to deal with stress. This is the context of music therapy used across hospitals, and I urge all educational institutions to use the therapy of music, art, and dance. India's 75 independence celebration, it's been a privilege to be part of that in various countries outside of India, in cities outside of Assam. And to march towards Amrit Kal, this is a tribute to our country. Music from the mountains, the rivers, the deserts, and music from our own land, which is Bihu. And do you know, all the music, Jimanami Bodam, next few minutes, all the world of music is based on 7 notes, whether it's classical, rock, jazz, pop, Bihu, Bhangra, Celtic, item numbers of Bollywood, Hollywood, Bollywood. Hongitot hat sore ase, and it's the biggest lesson of equality, inclusion, and coming together of different tones together. Bharat Darshan in Rag Desh, a tour of India, jot amar ahomo ase. So that's my offering of including Assam with the mainstream. No longer looking east, sir, it's act east now. Bharat Darshan in Mishra Desh. Music from the mountains, Pahadi. Same notes, Saregama Padhani, Pahadi pra, ete ami Kirtan of Bengal Lejam. Magama pa 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 pa. Magama pa 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 da pa da ma da pa da ma pa ga ma pa ni ni da pa pa da ma pa pa. Magama da 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 ni pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga ma da 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 ni pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga ma pa pa pa. From Bengal in the east to the deserts in the west, Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat. Love is universal, humanity is universal, music is universal. ho 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 aha ha ho 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 हो मैं तो लाज के मारी हो गई पानी पानी सब लोगों ने सुन ली मेरे प्रेम कहानी मुंह से बात निकल गई बात बात माँ बात बात माँ चनन चूड़िया चनन चूड़िया खनक गई देख साहिबा चूड़िया खनक गए हाथ माँ मोरनी बाका माँ बोले आधी रात माँ From the desert in the west to northeast in Assam, Bholu ka bahore. Sao hat bilak okman bihu nisnar kokman logak ya. Akhi oi moina. Oi bholu ka bahore oi akhi. Botah borokhune undulayani se oi oi amaku no thoba rakhi let there be spring, let there be spring always, spring is here in April, right? অসমৰ বিহুৰ পৰা গৈছো মহাৰাষ্ট্ৰৰ কলি সংগীত মই বম্বেত থাকো 22 বছৰ বহুত মৰম দিছে মোক মহাৰাষ্ট্ৰৰে তাতো সাৰে গামাই আছে সাসাৰে ৰে গাগাৰে সাসাৰে ৰে গাগাৰে সাসাৰে সাসাৰে come on let's do the dolkaras action मी डोलकारा 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 दर्याचा राजा मी डोलकारा 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 दर्याचा राजा घर पाण्यामध्ये बंदराला तू ये जा हो वल्लो रे नकवा हो वल्लो रे रामा वल्लो रे नकवा हो वल्लो रे रामा Now let's move to South India. 1, 2. Sa 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 ni sa ga ma ga sa 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 ta la pudam sa. Thank you. Thank you. Ahomot Hongit Kori, Jodi, we do not sing few lines together for the Bard of the Brahmaputra, Dr. Bhupen Hazarika, we wouldn't be doing justice to a musical stage. Vistar hai apar. For those who are not from Assam, Dr. Bhupenda asked the rivers and shouted to the rivers and said, why do you keep flowing when there's so much unrest in the world? Praja dono par kare hahakar निशब्द सदा ओ गंगा तुम ओ गंगा बहती हो क्यों অসমীয়াটো সবে গাব লাগিব একেলগে বিস্তীৰ্ণ পাৰৰে অসংখ্য জনৰে হাহাকাৰ শুনিও নিশব্দে নীৰৱে বুঢ়ালৈ তুমি বুঢ়ালৈ বুৱা কিয় मानवता नष्ट हुई नैतिकता भ्रष्ट हुई निर्लज भाव से बहती हो क्यों इतिहास की पुकार करे हुनकार ओ गंगा की धार निर्बल जन को प्रबल संग्रामी समग्राग्रामी बनाती नहीं हो क्यों Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dibojiti Sangma. And a round of applause to the 7 notes of the Indian octave. I had no other musicians, I had the Tanpura, the 7 notes. Pranam and thanks to the 7 notes for supporting us today. And thank you to the wonderful audience. Kalyanji, thank you for inviting me to this wonderful forum. Thank you, Ankurji, for inviting me to this wonderful forum. Thank you. And of course, to IndiGlobal and Sudhir and Shrikant. You may clear the stage, please.
On topics of education, changing face of governance, skills and attitudes for employability and so on. Today is a room full of enthusiastic students who interacted with our
Can you please mute the session?
Today we have a room full of enthusiastic students here who interacted with our esteemed panelists and made the most of their time here at the summit. Thank you so much, students, for interacting with the panelists and making the most of your time here at IIT Guwahati today.
Now, I would like to request the following distinguished dignitaries to come up to the stage. I would like to request Mr. Ankur Jain, IPS Mission Director, to usher our Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Ranuj Pegu. Can we have a round of applause for Honorable Minister Ranuj Pegu? Professor Iyer, IIT Guwahati, is escorting our Honorable Minister, Dr. Ranuj Pegu. Can we have a round of applause for Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Ranuj Pegu. We have on stage with us Dr. B. Kalyan Chakravarti Sir, IAS, Principal Secretary, Skill, Employment, Entrepreneurship and Labour Welfare Department, Government of Assam. Can we have a round of applause for Dr. B. Kalyan Chakravarti Sir? We have with us Professor Iyer, Director, IIT Guwahati. Can we have a round of applause for Professor Iyer? I would like to invite Radhika Rastogi Ma'am, Special Director, Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, on the stage. I would like to invite Mr. Ankur Jain, IPS Mission Director, ASTM, on stage. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Ankur Jain, IPS Mission Director? We have with us Radhika Rastogi Ma'am, Special Director, Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration. Now I would like to request Professor Arun Chattopadhyay, Department of Chemistry and Center of Nanotechnology, IIT Guwahati, to please come on stage. Can we have a round of applause for Professor Arun Chattopadhyay, Department of Chemistry and Center of Nanotechnology, IIT Guwahati. Can we have Akash Deep, Commissioner and Secretary, Environment and Forest, SPD Areas, Government of Assam, on stage. Can we have a round of applause for Akash Deep Sir, Commissioner and Secretary, Environment and Forest, SPD Areas, Government of Assam.
We also have Shri Abhishek Singh, IS, President and CEO, NEGD, ND and CEO, Digital India Corporation, CEO, Karma Yogi Bharat and Government of India.
Now I would like to request Principal Secretary Sir D. Kalyan Chakravarti to kindly start the event.
Thank you very much. Sir, thank you very much, Honorable Sir, for being here on the valedictory. अपना होकले सबे 2 दिनों बहुत किनी lectures to होने से बहुत किनी खोटा to गंपाई से skill और की होया से. Today we have a very special guest with us. अपनार future हमार country मने सबोत कोई important officer जिटू digital technologies की दिखोत गोया से, computer की कोरिया से, और हमार भारत देश टू केनेक्वा मने computer जुगत आग बढ़िया से, हेतु को बोलोई और अपना होकलोक मने उत्साह दी बोलोई और की अपना होकलोक आरु मने भाल मने employment होक skill और की आनी बोलोई लोई से government of India है, हेतु तेके को बोलो आही से. I would request you to put him online. Abhishek, please come online. Thank you very much for coming, Abhishek. And the students and the Honorable Minister are here to listen to you. I know that you are a very busy schedule, but please go ahead. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Kalyan. Honorable Minister from the Government of Assam, distinguished senior officers who are present here, the trainees or the students or those who are the future citizens of India who are attending this program. It's an honor and privilege for me to be here to speaking to you. In fact, I was telling Kalyan that I would have loved to come in person and interacted with the students, the faculty and the officials present here and get to learn more about what all Assam is doing with regard to ensuring that the students and the youth are given the necessary skills so that they can become the leaders for tomorrow. When we come to, like, of course, in the Northeast, I spend a lot of time. I'm from Nagaland Cadre, so I spend a lot of time in Nagaland in various districts and Kohima, and from having interacted with the friends there, what I can only say is that if you look at the potential of youth and the energy of youth in the Northeast is unparalleled compared to anywhere. Very often people regard Northeast as something which is out of nowhere, which is not very modern, not very progressive. But when it comes to technology and when it comes to adoption of technology, what I have seen is that the passion for adopting technology, passion for adopting e-services, passion for getting to the best of what is available in the world is unparalleled in the Northeast. One more fact I was looking at, like we all know that Northeast is the entire Northeast and all 7-8 states combined together, including Sikkim, we constitute almost 3.7% of India's population. And at the same time, we also contribute almost the same percentage to our GDP. So very often people think that Northeast has very little to contribute to the national income, but that is not true. So that's a misconception that many people have in trying to think that the Northeast is a place which is mainly dependent on India, but which is actually factually not true. Our GDP contribution is much higher compared to what many people perceive. More and above that, if you look at the investments that are made with regard to providing basic infrastructure, basic services in the Northeast, we need to do much more. We need to do much more in order to ensure that the lost years that we have, especially states like Nagaland, or even the Britishers have not gone. So the development story of many of the North regions begins after India got independence only. So given that, given the backlog that we have compared to other states, there is a greater need of having more push to investments in infrastructure, investments in airports, investments in connectivity. And when it comes to connectivity, we always say that how dependent we are, because we are connected geographically by a very small patch of land with the mainland. How do we ensure that more reliable optical fiber connectivity reaches every village in the Northeast? And since we are geographically distant, we need to use technology to bridge this gap. Today, high-speed internet, part of the global village community, we ensure that we get access to all information, we get access to all services, and then it should not matter whether we are sitting in Kifre district of Nuklak or Ukhrul, or whether you are sitting in Delhi or Bombay or Bangalore. The difference should go if we are connected to high-speed internet. The technology allows that. The BharatNet project, which is connecting, taking optical fiber to each and every village, makes it possible. The expansion of 5G, which is happening, will ensure that more and more value-added services come in, and we'll be able to use that to impart education, e-learning, and also healthcare and agriculture services. So that becomes very, very important. To the youth, I would say that today is the time, the opportunity that today's time gives has been like unparalleled. Today, the way technology is expanding, the way artificial intelligence, data science has come in every aspect of life that we live, is ensuring that we will be able to do things faster than what any other generation used to do. So this gives us a unique opportunity for building services which people have not have thought of also. Today we have a project called Bhashini, which allows you to translate any content, any voice, any speech from any Indian language to any other language on the fly. So if you go to like bhashini.gov.in, the Anuvad tab, wherein anything that Kalyan is speaking in Assam and Oromia, if I would feed that to the Bhashini Indian, to the Anuvad Indian, there will be instant translation of that content, whether I want that content in Telugu or Malayalam or Kannada or Hindi or English. So that is today possible with the technology. It's already available on the Bhashini portal. That would enable that we will be able to offer, say for example, agri services. If farmers are wanting to get the best of the advice from the best of the scientists, the agriculture scientists might not know the language, local language that the farmer is speaking, but the farmer should be able to speak to scientists and get advice. We have recently integrated a similar Bhashini solution in a pilot project with the chat GPT, which has become very common, and I'm sure students who are present here today would have explored that, would have learned about that. So there is one on a WhatsApp interface, you can ask with a voice command, just like we talk to an Alexa or a Siri, and we can get information about anything that we want. So there is a farmer in say Lakhimpur, and if he wants to know the price of paddy in the local market, he can just go there, give a voice command, and they will get that answer back in Oromia in voice. So that kind of transformation is possible today with technology. We need to push forward in this direction. I am sure IIT Guwahati is working, taking a lead in trying to be the anchor institution which can help integrate new technology, which can help nurture startups which are building such solutions and ensure that such solution is scaled up and rolled out across the state and the region. So that becomes very, very important. Along with IITs, we also need to work with ITIs and polytechnics. We are in UT implementing a program called National Program on Artificial Intelligence. Under that, across the country, we are trying to provide data labs in 250 ITIs and polytechnics, because we realize that the jobs of the future will require such skills, will require people to know that data science, will require people to know artificial intelligence. So instead of training fitters and mechanics and ITIs and polytechnics, we need to up our game, because with EV coming in, the jobs of fitters and mechanics and automobile engineering jobs will vanish. So we need to train people in data science, in machine learning and artificial intelligence, and ensure that we have the necessary human resource which can take the jobs that will emerge in the future. So this Assam would also, I will be getting in touch with Kalyan in order to identify the polytechnics or the ITI wherein these data labs will be set up, and ensure that such benefits goes to every state of the country, including the Northeast. So I would not like to take much time, because I know it's a valedictory session. Just before this session, I was enjoying the lovely music that was going on. So I am sure after the valedictory, there must be plans to further interact and learn from each other in physical sense. So I congratulate the government of Assam. I congratulate the entire team which has been behind the organization of this 2-day IndiGlobal Bharat Summit. And I am sure this will help us create the roadmap for building an action plan that we can use for skilling people, for ensuring that more e-services are built in Assam, and we are able to leverage the huge human resource that is there in the state. So congratulations, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to interact with you.
Thank you very much, Abhishek. Thank you. Abhishek Singh, Government of India, apna hokolor karne, akhomor karne, কেনেকুৱা এমপ্লয়মেণ্টটো আনিব পাৰে, আৰু এই তেখেতৰ কথাটো আছে কি ITI ষ্টুডেণ্টছবিলাক ডিজিটেল টেকনলজিজ শিকিব লাগে, কম্পিউটাৰ কেনেকুৱা শিকিব লাগে, এই কথাটো কৈছে। এণ্ড হোপফুলি সব ITI আৰু আমি পলিটেকনিকত আমি ল্যাবছে নাই, উই উইল ট্ৰাই টু ব্ৰিং ইন দ্য বেষ্ট ডিজিটেল টেকনলজিজ। এটা কথা জানিব লাগে আপোনাৰ সবে that without digital technologies, without computer knowledge, there is no future. So all of you should, at any cost, learn computers, learn digital technologies, and the most modern technologies. Or etu huida koriboloi, ami ji koribolage korim. Thank you very much, Abhishek, for your presence. I will not keep you now. Okay, keep you. Your presence has been invaluable to us. Thank you very much. Next, sir. আমার সবতকৈ ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট আছে আপোনাসকল জানে কি এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ অসমৰ এগ্ৰিকালচাৰত নতুন কি মানে উদ্যোগ ওলাই আছে কি মানে এমপ্লয়মেণ্ট ওলাই আছে এইটো বিষয় ক'বলৈ our most dynamic colleague of mine Akashdeep ইয়াত আহিছে. I want him to speak in just few sentences because it's agriculture is there in every village, in every aspect of our life. Food processing apni chips or pura loi apni jibur whatever fast foods that you eat, everything is based on agriculture and food processing, and it has a huge scope in Assam. I would like Akash, you can go there and speak.
Hello, very good evening to all of you. Honorable Minister Dr. Ranesh Pegu sir, Education Minister for Government of Assam, Madam Radhika Rastogi, who has also been our instructor in the academy sir recently in phase 4, B. Kalyan Chakrabarti sir, Principal Secretary Skills and Labor, Professor Iyer, Shri Ankur Jain, other dignitaries on the dais. It is very difficult to say something after such an enthralling performance by Madam Bhuya, who is here, who has enchanted us with her musical this journey. But I am here to really highlight something very different from that. It might sound very kind of mundane or very this thing, but let me tell you, sir, there can be no culture without agriculture. So, हे कारणे मैं आज यात आपणार माझ्यात उपस्थित होईसू. हे कारणे मैं आज आपणार यात माझ्यात उपस्थित होईसू. मैं याते कमिशनर सेक्रेटरी एनवायरमेंट एंड फॉरेस्ट हिसाबे एटू बस्तु चाई आसू. तार उपरिও मैं एखन वर्ल्ड बैंक प्रोजेक्ट आसे एपार्ट বুলি আমি কওঁ. ইয়াতে আমি এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ আৰু এলাইড সেক্টৰ যিখিনি আছে সেই ভিতৰত কেনে ধৰণত আমি এমপ্লয়মেণ্ট জেনেৰেশ্যন কৰিব পাৰোঁ, আমাৰ ফাৰ্মাৰ্ছ যিজনে আছে জড়িত হৈ আছে তেখেতসকলৰ ইনকাম আমি কেনেকুৱা বঢ়াব পাৰোঁ, ডবল কৰিব পাৰোঁ, এই কাৰণ আমি এইটো চিন্তা কৰোঁ. কিবা এইটো উই টেক ডিফাৰেণ্ট স্কিমছ ইন হেণ্ডছ. লেট মি টেল ইউ দ্যাট আই এম asked to speak about the sunrise sector in northeast. And let me tell you, one of them is definitely agriculture and allied sector, especially horticulture. Because we know that Assam is the gateway to Northeast, and Northeast, the potential has yet to be tapped. Etiao amar bahut khini vastu khini ase ji amar akhomor pora ba Northeast road bahirot manue na jane. Mane we have many items in horticulture. Apni Tejpur lychee lok, Bhuj jalokia lok, pineapple, ananas, oranges, fruits, bananas, orchids. 870 varieties out of 1300 of the world are found here in northeastern regions. Floriculture, it बहुत खिनी scope आसे. We in the World Bank project help you to set up. One of the important objectives is to help entrepreneurs or already existing businesses to set up their enterprises in terms of either giving knowledge, sharing skills, hand-holding, or giving any sort of subsidy. Even we also buy equity. We are planning to buy, if they have got their enterprise, we also buy their equity if they can kind of convince us. In fact, very soon, sir, we are also planning to have our own kind of program known as Shark Tank, where we'll be asking for people to pitch in their projects before us and asking equity. And we are going in a big way to do that, sir, very soon on that. So I really appeal the young minds here who are present here from the IITs, from the ITIs, from the other technical, even you need not be any technical person as well. If you have this common wish कि हमाक इटू खेतियक खेती अकल माने मान खेतियक मनोहर न है आजिकाली खेती करना शान की बात है. It's a very high rewarding, high productivity area also. Therefore, I urge all of you to come forward. We are all there to work, to help you out. Our office is in Khanapara in front of Lily Hotel, Agriculture Campus. We are called as again a part, the World Bank project. We can give you all sort of assistance, starting from how to form a company, business, the idea, ideation, hand-holding, and till the time you graduate to a level where we can provide you to credit linkage, and we can also support you through your equity. We can also take your equity or buy your equity. So with these words, sir, once again, I would like to thank you and the IndiGlobal for giving me this opportunity. I am really sorry that I wanted to speak much more, but time is not permitting, sir. And it's a very good feeling to be here once again, especially for Kalyan sir and me, because we have also been in such an atmosphere, but today we are engaging you in different capacities, and that really is the beauty of things which we see in future. So once again, I appeal all of you to come with free mind. Agriculture sector, horticulture sector, fisheries sector, the poultry sector is a very promising sector. There are a lot of schemes, lot of ways we can help you out. You come forward, we are there, and definitely see Northeast as a hub of organic and these exotic kind of crops, which will definitely come out in near future, and it will be a epicenter of such things in future. Thank you, sir.
हमार एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टरत किमान किनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज आसे हमार कमिश्नर एंड सेक्रेटरी एंड एसपीडी কৈছে कि तेकेदर ऑफिसत अपना हकल यदि माने लोनु लोब बिचारिसे अपना टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करी माने क्रिकेट माने बहुत किनी कोठा अपनी स्टार्ट करिबो पारे. दैट इज व्हाट ही वांटेड टू से. इट इज अ वेरी बिग सेक्टर और तात बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटीज आसे. नाउ टुडे इज द नेशनल साइंस डे. जाने ने अपना हकल Science Day की करने आसे? Okay, today is the Science Day because it was C.V. Raman's day. He had discovery of the Raman effect or the dispersal of light, and we have the best scientists in our midst here. I would request him, Chattopadhyay Saab, to tell you that science is something that we all should have. Critical thinking is there. On a National Science Day, if we do not respect the best scientists we have here with us, it will not be appropriate. So the last words for you.
Thank you, thank you. He just gave me a punishment now that I should speak only for 3 minutes, and I am a teacher who speaks at least 55 minutes per class to earn salary. So if you ask a teacher to speak for 3 minutes only, you are giving a punishment. I'll try. Thank you for the invitation and for everything else. Okay, let me start. All of you have got highly educated in last 2 days, right? I am addressing primarily those who are below 20 years old, I think somewhere around that. So I will start by conducting a quiz for you, the simplest possible quiz, so that I get your attention. All right, ready? Okay, all of you know alphabets. How many letters are there in English alphabet? 26, great. How many letters are there in your mother tongue? You get that? That's it. All right, we need to move forward, right? So I will now give you 2 homeworks. Radius of Earth is 6,400 kilometers. Radius of Earth is 6,400 kilometers. So how many kilometers you travel in 1 day and in 1 year? In space, without considering the expansion. You do at home, all right, or ask Google. I will now tell you about science. I can tell you that all of you who are young are born in the most fortunate time to be born. You may be thinking, why? You should be most fortunate. Now I will tell you that the world earlier was a divided place, just opposite to what you watch on TV. World earlier was full of wars and divisions at every level. Most of the people on the earth did not know what was education, what was opportunity. You are born in a time, everybody cares for you. Everybody wants you to be educated. Everybody wants you to be source of inspiration. What is the difference? When you are young, you do not know what it is to be young. You know what it is to be young only when you are old. You know what it is to be young only when you are old. Now you exactly know what it is to be 10 years old, not 18 years old. Once you pass that, you will realize that. Now science and technology, they have moved the world very fast. Almost all the jobs are based on science and technology. There is no job now, including in those in humanities and social sciences, which are without science and technology. Now what is the great thing? That earlier, only people who were favorites of kings and queens could pursue science, like Newton. And Einstein later, he was not favorite, but in a privileged environment. Now anybody born in Dhemaji, Kokrajhar, Zero, Tura, any place on the earth has equal opportunity to become a scientist, to become a technocrat, and to contribute to the wealth of others. So, you are born in a time when you will get to live for more than 100 years. Imagine you will see 22nd century, because healthcare has improved and healthcare has reached to almost all the people. Meaning, governments after governments are trying that everybody lives through 100 years, and technology will be such that you will get to live in healthy lives. So why should you pursue science other than and technology? First, from the childhood, you have to keep quiet. I am a teacher. This is what I tell to my students. If you are in the class, you have to listen. If you don't want to listen, door is open. So either you listen or you leave. There is no other option in my class. So I'm very strict on that. Please be quiet on that side. I can hear exactly where it is coming. Keep quiet. I will leave you in few minutes. I will not bother you. Right? If you don't want to listen to me, put on your music in your low voice. We'll take care of it. All right. So, why everybody should pursue science? Suppose you don't get employment. Your home will be the most beautiful place on the earth if you know science. You can do, in future what will happen? Your home will be a source of energy, electricity, agriculture, perfumes, many other commodities which you will need every day. If you do not know science, somebody else will come. I will tell you a thing. Gregor Johann Mendel, have you heard of Mendel's law of genetics? Yes or no? 200 years ago, he discovered that. Now, every agriculturists know that. They produced hybrid varieties based on genetics. So, when you grow up, 30, 40, 50 years old, you will see greater changes. When you were born, there were 1 flights per day from Guwahati to other cities. When your children will be born, it is 20-fold increase or 30-fold increase. That's called development. I have seen. We used to have, when I came here, only Mado was here in North Guwahati. You can see development in 25 years. I see positivity in society, positivity in government, positivity in students. You will ask the questions that what will science deliver to us? Science will deliver exactly what you want for yourself. I will give you the mantra. If you are happy and healthy, one more time. If you are happy and healthy, you have done 50% of social services. How? If you are happy, you are not bothering anybody else. So everybody else will see you as a source of happiness. If you are healthy, you are not a burden on the society. You are not a burden on the healthcare. So all of us, if promise today, I will remain happy and healthy and practice, society will improve in a very short period of time. and everything is scientific. You can pursue it. What you need? Discipline yourself, study very hard, go to the best school possible, and try your best to be the best. Most importantly, figure out what you want in science and technology and try that. Failure may be there, but you will learn extraordinary things which will help you later in life. You are all gifted, just you don't know that you are gifted. You don't think you are gifted. All of us know, all of us think that all children born everywhere in the world is with a gift we need to utilize. Now, all of them are telling you that we will utilize your talent, help you in growing forward. I will give you one or two examples of science, right? Then I will tell you. Imagine earlier, moon was only in the poems and dreams. Now, when you will become 50 years old, you will travel probably to the moon in a day's time and come back. Maybe Mars, you will settle. Somebody else will settle, you will help somebody settle. How will you do that? Build engines, build aircraft to go and come back, and you will be part of it. You never know, it may be in Assam somewhere, it will be built. Or you can contribute to the wealth. Imagine everybody in the society has one child. In 2 generations, concept of brother, sister, uncle, aunt will be gone. One more time. Imagine everybody in the society has just one child. In 2 generations, concept of brother, sister, uncle, aunt will be gone. When you will become 100 years old, you will be alone. That time your health will be important. And modern machine, like robots, will help you to be in good health, to be in good company. So at this point, it is very difficult for you to realize what you should do. Do what your teachers are trying to tell you. Do what you learn on the web. Do what your parents are trying to tell you. Do what you want to do. If you get to do what you want to do, most of the people on the earth will be happy and prosperous. Try that and make Assam, Northeast, a great center for education, advancement, and enlightenment for the future generations. I can tell you, I have traveled all over India. People of all of India are looking forward to Northeast for a great leap because the resources in Northeast are plenty. People are great. We have moved forward in the last 25 years since I am here in a great way. I am sure in another 25 years, there will be great movement. I will give you 2 or 3 solutions, problems to solve, then it's done. What is? Convert heat into electricity. So weather more hot, your home will be more cold. That is one challenge you do. Can you do that? Convert water into electricity, hydrogen. You will become rich overnight. Find out how to program. Yourself you learn. You're young, you can learn. You will become rich overnight. Just create a chatbot. Thank you. I thank you very much for your kind attention. And I hope all of you one day will realize your dream. Your parents have, your brothers and sisters have, you have at the end, and the society has. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I took it.
Thank you very much. In fact, you made me realize what teachers in IIT can be. I used to be scared when I was an IITian. And you bring back memories of the teachers of IIT. So, apna hokolo ke all students, 2 dinor pura mi atasu, 2 dinor pura apna hokol bahut kini sessions to saise. More, amar mane department government or eta prayas hasile ki the best of best minds on skilling mane country mane jiman kini manu apna hokolor karne hohai koribo pare kontu area mane jobs hobo kontu skill apna hokol hikibo lagibo mane sabok yat ani pelai apna hokolok bane eta experience dia hoise aru ami ekhon eta plan to banabo khujisu ki ami 5 বছৰৰ ভিতৰত আমি কোত পাম 10 বছৰৰ ভিতৰত কোত পাম আৰু অসমত মানে আমি কেনেকৈ সবতকৈ এটা ভাল এটা রাষ্ট্র হিসাবত আমি গড়ি তুলিব পাৰোঁ এইটো আমাৰ প্ৰয়াস আছিলে আৰু এটা action plan আমি ল'ব খুজিছোঁ sir this was one of the first events that we have taken with regard to skill conference and we are trying to make a detailed kind of a plan to the granular detail in each of the sectors whether it is the water sector or the handloom sector the agriculture sector the digital sector in 1 year 3 years 5 years 10 years and 25 years what is the kind of an employment potential and where are the and what kind of jobs key to jobs apni lobo lage apni sai se sabe apna koi se ki digital technology so du tinta kotha tekete koi se jitu take away asile ki sabe apna hokol mane computer to apni sabe hikibo lagibo etu apni ketia neribo because future belongs to those who know how to operate computers how to operate digital technologies secondly environmental sustainability jeneko aji amar speaker e koi goise ki mane yadi ami environment to thik pani to ami dhori rakhim pani আগে পিছে या environment আগে পিছে যিমানখিনি jobs আছে এটু মানে সদায় থাকিব whether it is for the purpose of water auditor whether it is for the purpose of trees whether it is for purpose of sustainability smart cities water conservation STPs sewage treatment plants এবোৰ মানে বহুতখিনি jobs হ'ব তাতো মানে আমাৰ কিছুমানে skill councilত কৈছে যেনেকুৱা মানে আমি ব্যাম্বু আমি পৰা আমি কেনেকৈ জুৱেলাৰী বনাব পাৰোঁ ইয়া আমি আমাৰ ব্ৰহ্মপুত্ৰত মানে এই যিবোৰ মানে whatever is the waterways how we can make jobs from that এইবোৰ গোটেইটো প্লানটো আমি অসমে এতিয়া বনাইছে আৰু বনাব we have taken the best minds in order to do this 5 top sectors that we have tried to identify like tourism hospitality beauty and wellness agriculture handloom and textiles health and IT, besides of course various other sectors like sustainability, have been identified, sir, during this particular 2-day conference. We are also going to focus on overseas jobs. First is of course, as to what, because overseas jobs, apni hokole yat mane jibur kaam kori ase. Etu kaame apni yedi Japanot korile apni mane 3 lakh 4 lakh pabo. Mane adi apna ki hikibo lage eta Japanese language hikibo lage. Apni ekhon language to hikile আপনি জি কাম ইয়াত কৰি আছে তাত মানে 10 গুণা या 20 গুণা পেটো তাত পাব সো আপোনাক ল্যাঙ্গুৱেজ ট্ৰেইনিংটো কি কৰিব লাগে হেতু বি আমি চাই মেলি হাউ উই হ্যাভ টু সেন্ড ইউ abroad is something that we will think the best of the industry leaders right from the Tatas to the Google to various sectors were there during this 2-day conference and we have tried to do our best to bring them to think about Assam each of these leaders from across the world came together to think about how they can provide jobs in the state of Assam, how they can provide skills in the state of Assam. So we've focused on that and hopefully we have also focused on how to develop entrepreneurship. There were a lot of sessions on entrepreneurship. With these two objectives of providing jobs, entrepreneurship, the best minds have come together. I thank all of you for being here for these 2 days. Especially I would like to thank those in the dais. Radhika Rastogi madam, she was there from the very beginning. She has told a lot about how administration is changing and what will be the future of administration. In fact, would you like to say a few words on that? Just 1 second, ma'am, please. I would like her because the future of our country will depend on how she trains future administrators. I want you to say one.
Thank you. We have already conversed over the last 2 days, Honorable Minister and dignitaries and young friends. Very few of you opted for the civil services when I asked you in the morning, but irrespective of whatever line you want to pursue, be an entrepreneur, be it whichever field it might be, one thing is certain, you'll have to be a lifelong learner. In fact, when I thought I got into the civil service, I won't have to learn anymore. I can stop being a student. But when I went to Maharashtra, I'm from Andhra Pradesh, went to Maharashtra, opened the files, everything was in Marathi. I realized what it feels like to be an illiterate. So I had to start from scratch, from A, B, C, D, E. And then within 2 years, yes, I could, but it was again an uphill task. Each time I change a department, I have to learn about the whole sector. And that's why being a learner is important. It doesn't matter whichever field you are in, but whichever field you are in, don't blame the government. Be an active participant in governance. It's not for few bureaucrats to run the country, it is for all of us. And in fact, the sky is limit. It is said in Sanskrit, Kshanashaha Kanaschaiva Vidya Artham Cha Arjayat. Kshanatyago Kuto Vidya, Kanatyago Kuto Danam. Every kshan, every second you should use to learn. Otherwise you won't become learned. And every penny must be saved and used wisely, otherwise you will not be rich. So people who waste their time and people who waste their pennies and money, they can never be learned, they can never be rich. So I will just, taking inspiration from Sunita Bhuyan, I will leave you with the message, the song we used to sing in our college. It was a degree college in Hyderabad, where in fact that was a great inspiration for me. Songs can have, see, you never responded to any of the speakers the way you responded to her. So maybe I will end with a little song, my college song. With science on to medicine, from space up to the stars, we shall aid in mankind's progress and make the heavens ours. Each college girl your flag unfurl, duty bound and service free. Whatever the choice in life may be, pursue it perseveringly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. So, big thanks to all of you, and now I request our honored chief guest for today, the Honorable Education Minister, who has been changing the fortunes of all the youth in this state, to say his words of wisdom for us to hear. And apna hokale hunibo, because what he says will be very important for the future of Assam, for your future. Please, sir.
Respected Director of IIT Guwahati, Professor Parameshwar K. Iyer. Respected Dr. B. Kalyan Chakraborty, the Principal Secretary of the Skill Department, Government of Assam. Arun Chattopadhyay, the scientist. Radhika Rastogi, IS. Ankur Jain, the Mission Director of Assam Skill Development Mission. Sudhir Ganthan, the Chief Executive Officer of IndiGlobal Media, other distinguished persons, faculty members of IIT Guwahati, my friends from the media, and dear students. First of all, I congratulate the Skill Department, ASDM, IIT Guwahati, IndiGlobal Media, and all other sponsors of this skill conference for its successful conclusion. We are coming to the end of this two-day session. I am congratulating all of you, and I hope this will open new vistas in the field of education, field of skill in Assam, not only in Assam, in entire Northeast, and also say so parts to the country. Amar hokolore eta bhranto dharana ase. Skill aru education duita beleg bostu. Amar dharana ase je skill dropout bilakor karone. Education, যিসকলে এডুকেশ্যন কন্টিনিউ কৰিছে তেওঁলোকৰ কাৰণে এডুকেশ্যন, যিসকল ড্ৰপ আউট তেওঁলোকৰ কাৰণে চৰকাৰে এইটো স্কিল ডেভেলপমেণ্ট ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্ট খুলিছে, মিছন খুলিছে. This concept of to separate entity of skill and education, and that skill is for the dropouts, is totally wrong. Dropout কোনো এডুকেশ্যন ব্যৱস্থাত যদি ড্ৰপ আউট হৈছে, সেই এডুকেশ্যন ব্যৱস্থা ফেইল কৰি আছে. এডুকেশ্যন, স্কুল এডুকেশ্যনটো হ'ল এটা স্প্ৰিং বৰ্ড, যি স্প্ৰিং বৰ্ডৰ পৰা মানুহ বেলেগ বেলেগ কেৰিয়াৰত, বেলেগ বেলেগ প্ৰফেশ্যনত তেওঁলোকে আগবাঢ়ি যাব, তাৰ পৰা তেওঁলোকৰ ট্ৰানজিশ্যন হয়. কিন্তু তাত যদি ড্ৰপ আউট হৈছে, তেনেহ'লে সেই চিষ্টেম ফেইল কৰিছে. আজি এডুকেশ্যন ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্ট আমাৰ প্ৰচেষ্টা হৈছে যে আমাৰ ড্ৰপ আউট শূন্য হ'ব লাগে, ট্ৰেনজিশ্যন 100% হ'ব লাগে। অসমত ছেকেণ্ডেৰী মাধ্যমিক পৰ্যায়ত ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীৰ ড্ৰপ আউটৰ সংখ্যা 30% আছিল, 30%, 30%। আৰু আমাৰ কণ্টিনিউৱাছ যি ইফৰ্ট আছে সেই ইফৰ্টৰ ফলস্বৰূপে এই 30%টো আমি এই বছৰ 20%লৈ নমাবৰ কাৰণে সক্ষম হৈছোঁ। এইটো এক ধৰণৰ আমাৰ এটা এচিভমেণ্ট। কি কাৰণে স্কিলটো ড্ৰপ আউটৰ কাৰণে বুলি ভবা হয়? এটা সময়ত বিদ্যালয় শিক্ষাত, স্কুল এডুকেশ্যনত এনেকুৱা এটা ধাৰণা সৃষ্টি কৰি দিয়া যায়, ফাৰ্ষ্ট ডিভিজন পাব লাগিব, ষ্টাৰ পাব লাগিব, লেটাৰ পাব লাগিব, ডক্টৰ হ'ব লাগিব, ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰ হ'ব লাগিব। সৰু বাচ্চা 6 বছৰ 7 বছৰ স্কুলত গৈছে, অলপ ইংলিছ ক'ব শিকিছে, কোনোবা ঘৰত আলহী আহে, সোধে বেটা কি নাম তোমাৰ? কৈছে অমুক। ডাঙৰ হ'লে কি হ'বা? মাকে শিকাই দিয়ে ডক্টৰ হ'ম বুলি কওঁ, বাপেকে শিকাই দিয়ে ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰ হ'ম বুলি কওঁ। তো 5-6 বছৰৰ বাচ্চাক শিকোৱা হয় যে ডাঙৰ হ'লে ডক্টৰ হ'ম বুলি কবি, ডাঙৰ হ'লে ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰ হ'ব বুলি কবি। এতিয়া মোৰ প্ৰশ্ন, চবেই যদি ডাক্তৰ হয়, ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰ হয়, কি প্ৰয়োজন আছে সকলোৱে ডাক্তৰ হোৱাৰ, সকলোৱে ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰ হোৱাৰ? ফ'কাছটো ডাক্তৰ ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰত কি কাৰণে? কি কাৰণে প্ৰশাসনিক বিষয়া, এডমিনিষ্ট্ৰেটিভ অফিচাৰ হোৱাৰ কাৰণে? কি কাৰণে এজন ছাকচেছফুল, এজন সফল বিজনেছমেন হোৱাৰ কাৰণে? এজন পলিটিচিয়ান হোৱাৰ কাৰণে? এজন খেতিয়ক হোৱাৰ কাৰণে? এজন গোপালক হোৱাৰ কাৰণে? আমি ল'ৰা ছোৱালীক কিয় নিশিকাওঁ? এই যে এটা বদ্ধমূল ধাৰণা, ডাক্তৰ ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰ হ'ব লাগিব, JEE নীট ক্লিয়াৰ কৰিব লাগিব, তেতিয়াহ'লে ছাকচেছফুল, আৰু JEE নীট যদি ক্লিয়াৰ কৰিব পৰা নাই তেতিয়াহ'লে ASDMত যাব লাগিব, স্কিল ডেভেলপমেণ্ট মিছনত যাব লাগিব। এইটো সম্পূৰ্ণৰূপে এটা ভুল ধাৰণা, আৰু এই ভুল ধাৰণাটো আমি ভাঙিব বিচাৰিছোঁ। স্কিল is part of education, and education without skill is incomplete. বহুত মানুহে মোৰ লগত এই বিষয়ে কথা পাতোতে কয় যে স্যাৰ, স্কিল and education are just two sides of the coin. মই কৈছোঁ no, they are not two sides of the coin. Is MBBS and education are two sides of the coin? Is a degree in IIT and education are two sides of the same coin? No. যদি মেডিকেল সায়েন্স আৰু শিক্ষা এটা মুদ্ৰাৰ ইপিঠি সিপিঠি নহয়, বৰঞ্চ ই এটা এণ্টিটি, এটাৰে অন্তৰ্নিহিত এই যদি বস্তু হয়, তেতিয়াহ'লে স্কিল আৰু এডুকেশ্যনো এটা মুদ্ৰাৰ ইপিঠি সিপিঠি নহয়। স্কিল ই অন্তৰ্নিহিত, ই এডুকেশ্যনৰ ভিতৰৰে এটা বস্তু, আৰু উইদাউট স্কিল এডুকেশ্যন কেতিয়াও কমপ্লিট হ'ব নোৱাৰে। এতিয়া আমি যেতিয়া নীট পাছ কৰিলোঁ, মেডিকেলত গ'লোঁ, তাৰমানে মোৰ ট্ৰেনজিশ্যন হ'ল। মই স্কুল এডুকেশ্যনৰ পৰা মই এতিয়া চিকিৎসা বিজ্ঞানত গৈছোঁ। স্কিল এডুকেশ্যনৰ পৰা মই ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰিং এডুকেশ্যনত গৈ আছোঁ। স্কিল এডুকেশ্যনৰ পৰা মই নাৰ্ছিং এডুকেশ্যনত গৈ আছোঁ। স্কুল এডুকেশ্যনৰ পৰা মই জেনেৰেল ডিগ্ৰী এডুকেশ্যনত গৈ আছোঁ। স্কুল এডুকেশ্যনৰ পৰা মই পলিটেকনিকত গৈ আছোঁ। এই ধৰণে স্কিল এডুকেশ্যনলৈ যি আমি যাম, স্কিল এডুকেশ্যনলৈ আমাৰ ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীৰ ট্ৰেনজিশ্যন হ'ব লাগিব, আৰু সেই ট্ৰেনজিশ্যনৰ কাৰণে এটা ডাঙৰ বস্তুৰ আমাৰ প্ৰয়োজন। এইটোৱে হ'ল ইনষ্টিটিউট, এডুকেশ্যনেল ইনষ্টিটিউটছ স্পেচিফিকেলি ইম্পাৰ্টিং স্কিল এডুকেশ্যন। কাৰণ প্ৰত্যেক ইনষ্টিটিউটৰ লিমিটেশ্যনছ আছে। মেডিকেল কলেজৰ লিমিটেশ্যনছ আছে, মেডিকেল কলেজে ইকনমিক্স পঢ়াব নোৱাৰে। জেনেৰেল কলেজৰ লিমিটেশ্যনছ আছে, ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰিং পঢ়াব নোৱাৰে। স্কিল এডুকেশ্যনৰ কাৰণে স্পেচিয়েল আমাক কিছুমান ইনষ্টিটিউশ্যন লাগে, যিটোৰ সংখ্যা আমাৰ ইয়াত নাই বা যিটোৰ সংখ্যা কম। আৰু সেইকাৰণে অসম চৰকাৰে এখন স্কিল ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি আমি মঙলদৈত নিৰ্মাণ কৰাৰ আৰম্ভ কৰিছোঁ ফৰ স্কিল এডুকেশ্যন, নট স্কিল ডেভেলপমেণ্ট, স্কিল এডুকেশ্যন, স্কিল বেছড এডুকেশ্যনৰ কাৰণে। আজি ইণ্ডাষ্ট্ৰী ছেক্টৰত বহুত ইনষ্টিটিউট হ'ব পাৰে, কাৰণ কৰ্পৰেট ছেক্টৰে তেওঁলোকে নিজেও ট্ৰেইনিং দিছে যে এই কৰ্পৰেট ইণ্ডাষ্ট্ৰী মানে কৰ্পৰেট বডিবিলাকে L&T ভাল কাম কৰি আছে, বা অইল ONGC তেওঁলোকেও স্কিল এডুকেশ্যনত কাম কৰিছে। ইণ্ডাষ্ট্ৰী ছেক্টৰৰ পিকচাৰটো অলপ বেটাৰ, কিন্তু এটা কথা মনত ৰাখিব যে আমাৰ লাৰ্জেষ্ট নাম্বাৰ অফ এমপ্লয়মেণ্ট প্ৰভাইডিং ছেক্টৰ ইজ এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ। আৰু ছায়েন্স এণ্ড টেকনলজিৰ যিমানে ডেভেলপমেণ্ট নহওক, ছায়েন্স এণ্ড টেকনলজিৰ যিমানে ডেভেলপ নহওক, মেচিনে চাউল বনাব নোৱাৰে। সিনথেটিক চাউল আমি খাব নোৱাৰোঁ, সিনথেটিক মাছ নোলায়, সিনথেটিক মাংস নোলায়, ওলালেও সেইটো আমাৰ কাৰণে হজম নহ'ব। তো আৰ্থ মাটিত খেতি কৰা খাদ্যই আমাৰ কাৰণে মূল বস্তু, আৰু তাৰ কাৰণে এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ ছেক্টৰটোৱে যিহেতু লাৰ্জেষ্ট নাম্বাৰ অফ এমপ্লয়মেণ্ট প্ৰভাইড কৰে, তেনেহ'লে এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ ছেক্টৰটোতে স্কিল এডুকেশ্যনৰ আটাইতকৈ বেছি প্ৰয়োজন আছে, কিন্তু তাৰ কাৰণে আমাৰ ইনষ্টিটিউশ্যন ভেৰি লিমিটেড। আজি ডেইৰী ফাৰ্মিঙৰ ওপৰত আজি এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ জেনেৰেল ভেটেনেৰী কলেজত ইউ গেট এ ডিগ্ৰী in animal husbandry and veterinary science, you get a degree. But from Dhemaji, where do I get a certificate course on piggery? Where do I get a certificate course on dairy farming? কিছুমান ট্ৰেইনিং পাৰ্টনাৰ ওলাই যাব, সিহঁতে ক'ব যে নহয় আমি শিকাই দিম, ই একটা কম্পিউটাৰ লৈ প্ৰজেক্টৰ লৈ পেলাই শিকাব, কোনো তাত প্ৰেক্টিকেল নাই। অন হেণ্ড ট্ৰেইনিং বুলি যি কয়, সেই অন হেণ্ড ট্ৰেইনিঙৰ আমি লাভ উঠাব নোৱাৰিম। তো তাৰ কাৰণে চৰকাৰে কিছু ব্যৱস্থা গ্ৰহণ কৰিছে, আৰু সেই ব্যৱস্থাৰ ভিতৰত কল্যাণ চক্ৰৱৰ্তী হয়তো আপোনালোকক ইতিমধ্যে জনাইছে, we have 34 polytechnics and we have 43 ITIs. 34 polytechnic, 43 ITI, এইখিনি টাটা টেকনলজিজৰ লগত সংযুক্ত কৰি তাত যি নতুন জেনেৰেশ্যনৰ ইণ্ডাষ্ট্ৰিয়েল মেচিনাৰিজ আছে, ইণ্ডাষ্ট্ৰি ছেক্টৰ আছে, তাৰ কাৰণে স্কিল এডুকেশ্যনৰ বিশেষ ব্যৱস্থা কৰিছে। এণ্ড মন্ত্ৰী ডাঙৰীয়াই বিশেষ ব্যৱস্থা গ্ৰহণ কৰিছে যে প্ৰাইভেট পাৰ্টিবিলাকক আহ্বান জনাইছে, প্ৰত্যেক ব্লকত আমি ঠাই দিম, প্ৰত্যেক ব্লকত আমি ঘৰ দিম যিমান পাৰোঁ, তাতে প্ৰত্যেকটো ব্লকত এটা এটা স্কিল এডুকেশ্যনৰ কাৰণে ITI হ'ব লাগে। মোৰ এপিলটো, আৰু মোৰ স্কিল ডেভেলপমেণ্ট মিছনক মই এপিল কৰিম যে ইণ্ডাষ্ট্ৰীৰ লগে লগে সমানে সমানে এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ ছেক্টৰটোতো ফ'কাছ কৰক, কাৰণ ইয়াতে আমি আটাইতকৈ বেছি আজি যদি খবৰ লয় যে অসমৰ ল'ৰা কেৰেলাত কি ছেক্টৰত আটাইতকৈ বেছি এমপ্লয়ড হৈ আছে, আমি কৈ দিওঁ ছিকিউৰিটি গাৰ্ড হৈ আছে, কিবা হৈ আছে। অন্ধ্ৰপ্ৰদেশ, কেৰেলাত লাখৰ ওচৰা ওচৰি অসমৰ ল'ৰা এমপ্লয়ড হৈ আছে। ক'ত এমপ্লয়ড হৈ আছে? ফিচাৰী ছেক্টৰ, ৰাবাৰ প্লেণ্টেশ্যন ছেক্টৰ, এগ্ৰ'বেছ ছেক্টৰত বহুত সংখ্যক ল'ৰা তাতে এনগেজ হৈ আছে, কিন্তু দুখৰ কথা এইটোৱে, তেওঁলোক আনস্কিল্ড লেবাৰ হিচাপে এমপ্লয়ড হৈ আছে। দে নিড টু বি স্কিল্ড, আৰু যেতিয়া স্কিল্ড হ'ব, স্কিল্ড হোৱাৰ লগে লগে তেওঁলোকৰ সংখ্যা বাঢ়ি যাব। ইয়াৰ লগে লগে এণ্টাৰপ্ৰিনিয়ৰ ডেভেলপ কৰা, আমি বহুত মানুহৰ কথা জানো যিসকলে ফ্ৰম ৰেক্স, খুব একো নথকা অৱস্থাৰ পৰা তেওঁলোক ৰাইজ কৰি কৰি আজি ডাঙৰ এণ্টাৰপ্ৰিনিয়ৰ হৈছে, আৰু এণ্টাৰপ্ৰিনিয়ৰ হোৱাৰ লগে লগে তেওঁ এমপ্লয়িৰ পৰা এমপ্লয়াৰলৈ ৰূপান্তৰিত হৈছে। নিয়োগ বিচৰা মানুহৰ পৰা নিয়োগ দিব পৰা মানুহলৈ ৰূপান্তৰিত হৈছে। কোনেও নাজানে, আপোনালোকৰ মাজৰ পৰা, সাধাৰণ মানুহৰ মাজৰ পৰাই ডাঙৰ ডাঙৰ এণ্টাৰপ্ৰিনিয়ৰৰ জন্ম হৈছে। স্কোপটো লাগে, অপৰচুনিটিটো লাগে, কিন্তু সেই অপৰচুনিটিটোৰ কাৰণে তাৰ চৰ্চাও হ'ব লাগিব আৰু তাৰ চৰ্চা কৰা প্ৰক্ৰিয়া এটা এই কনফাৰেন্সো হয়। গতিকে কেৱল স্কিল ট্ৰেইনিং, স্কিল এডুকেশ্যনটোৰ সমান্তৰালভাৱে এণ্টাৰপ্ৰিনিয়ৰশ্বিপৰ এডুকেশ্যন, এণ্টাৰপ্ৰিনিয়ৰশ্বিপ তাৰ বিকাশ ঘটোৱাৰ কাম কাজবিলাকো তাৰ সমান্তৰালভাৱে আমি সমানে সমানে আগবঢ়াই লৈ যাব লাগিব। আৰু এইটো যদি লৈ যাওঁ, আমাৰ যি পৰিকল্পিত অসম চৰকাৰৰ যিটো মানে প্লেন, যে আমাৰ এডুকেশ্যনত 0 drop out, 100% transition, and 100% transition to a diverse sectors. Science, arts, commerce, medicine, engineering, various kind of skill education. Skill doesn't mean only the machinery things, the soft skill, hard skill, the digital skill, agriculture sector, again in the agriculture sector, the veterinary sector, fishery sector, horticulture sector, everything needs to be covered. এই সকলো দিশত কভাৰ কৰাৰ কাৰণে এটা পৰিকল্পিত ব্লু প্ৰিণ্ট লৈ আমি আগবাঢ়ি আহিছোঁ আৰু আজি এই কনফাৰেন্সখনৰ যোগেদি বহুত নতুন আইডিয়াজ, অপৰচুনিটিজ সেইখিনি মুকলি হৈছে। তাৰ কাৰণে মই উদ্যোক্তাসকলক ধন্যবাদ জনাইছোঁ আৰু I request Kalyan Chakraborty to nicely document the deliberations done here in this conference. They should be nicely documented, and we should sit again in a brainstorming session for formulating the state policies to implement the suggestions which have been compiled here. The ideas, opinions which have been compiled through this conference needs to be thoroughly scrutinized and drafted a policy document for adoption by the state government. And with these words, IIT Guwahati is doing great job. I think a year back, I was here to participate in the Northeast Research Conclave, and today again this skill conclave. So IIT, our association, state government and IIT Guwahati association is very close. Sometimes I forget whether this is a central government institute or state government institute. This is completely our institute, Assam's institute, doing magnificent job. I thank IIT Guwahati for hosting this event here. আৰু এই কথাকেইটা কৈ আপোনালোক সকলোকে মোৰ ফালৰ পৰা পুনৰ ধন্যবাদ জনাই এটা যোগাত্মক মন লৈ আপোনালোকক যিখিনি দিহা পৰামৰ্শ দিছে সেই দিহা পৰামৰ্শখিনিৰে আপোনালোকে নিজৰ জীৱন সংগ্ৰামক আগুৱাই নিব, এই কথাকেইটা কৈ মই মোৰ বক্তব্য সামৰণি মাৰিছোঁ। থেংক ইউ, ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you very much, sir. Our deliberations we will definitely document and we'll be presenting it to you, sir. Vote of thanks, 1 second.
किसको देना है?
Sudhir, yeah. এইটো মানে যেতিয়া ইয়াত আমাৰ কনফাৰেন্স চলি আছিলে, কিছু কোম্পানীজ আমাৰ যিবোৰ ল'ৰা আছে ইয়াত সিহঁতৰ ইণ্টাৰভিউ লৈছে আৰু ইয়াতে মানে তেখেতসকলকো এপইণ্টমেণ্টটো দি দিছে। তো আমি এনেকুৱা কনফাৰেন্সত এই এপইণ্টমেণ্ট যিটো দিয়া হৈছে এইটো আমি the certificates are there, bring them. No, you just give that. First we'll continue the vote. So I would, that will continue the program with regard to the giving of the appointments, that we will continue to do it at a later stage. Yeah, we have come to the close of the function. Ami eta Hekot Ahilu. I thank all of you for being present here. I'd like to thank the Honorable Minister for being here, and as a sign of respect, we would like to give him a memento for this particular, for attending this. And to keep the memories of this alive, I would request a memento to be presented first. Memento. Thank you.
Can we have a round of applause for our Honorable Minister, Dr. Roland Pepper. The memento is presented to him by Dr. V. Kalyan Chakravarti, Sir, Principal Secretary, Skill Employment Entrepreneurship and
And for the others,
Now I would like to request Dr. B. Kalyan Chakravarti, Sir, to kindly felicitate Radhika Rastogi, Ma'am, Lal Bahadur Shastri, National Academy of Administration with the Fulam Gamusa, Professor Arun Chattopadhyay, Department of Chemistry, Professor Iyer, Director of IIT, Sudhir Gautam, CEO and Editor-in-Chief, IndiGlobal Media Network.
thank you all. Thank you. Right, sir.
I would now like to request.
Thank
Sudhir-
you. Letters are ready? Can we give it? Okay. Mr. Sujeev Nair, give that letters. Sir, he is basically, sir, Mr. Sujeev Nair. Please introduce yourself.
Namaskar. Good evening, everyone. I represent an organization named Re-Sustainability Limited. This is Asia's largest waste management company. Thanks to the government of Assam for inviting us for this conference. We did a consolidated campus, so there are about 6 colleges. We had students from BTech and MSc come. There were 78 students, and we've decided to offer 9 of them. So these are the shortlisted students. It's a very small start, but we look forward to an increasing number. 9 appointments. Yes. Thank you, Kalyanji.
So, good evening to you all. I think last 2 days we really had a great opportunity to listen to industry leaders. I think vice chancellors, directors of various institutes and universities, also a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of bureaucrats, and of course, our honorable minister. There are a lot of things you can see that everyone wants to do for you all, for the youth of the country, so that we have a sustainable future. And what we are enjoying today, your generation and the generations after that also benefits and reaps the benefits after that. So I think, we can collectively work together. There is a huge effort in every sector. Whatever is your interest, whatever you dream, you can pursue that. And for that, if IIT is here to give you a knowledge, enhancing your knowledge or, upgrading your skills, we are here. Definitely the support from the government, from the bureaucrats, from all industry partners, whoever is there, we are there to give you support. This is a very unique opportunity that the state government has provided you all a very good platform that you can really grab with both the hands, and I'm sure that you all will pursue what you want and get whatever help from the teachers, from the system that is in place. So with these few words, thank you once again everyone, and hope you have a safe journey back, and definitely we'll have a strong bridge that has been initiated today. Thank you very much.